Hey, what's up, gang? We're back for another episode of Versus. We got an exciting show tonight. This was a fun week to do shows. We had, let's see what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Army versus Dead. What the hell is he talking about? What he's talking about is Army of Thieves, Army of the Dead, and Dawn of the Dead. We're going to talk about all of these Zack Snyder movies, and we're going to have a great time discussing it. Also, we'll have some other fun topics. We recently got a Book of Boba Fett trailer, and oh man, there's been Eternals news. There's a Wheel of Time, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to have a fun time. Before we get started, guys, I need you to like, share, subscribe, click that notification bell, tell your friends about us, and here we go. Let's get our people into the show, and look at it. We have Snyder with us, man. Holy crap! Can you believe it? And Curtis, how you doing, man?
Doing well. Snyder's looking pretty dapper over there.
Yeah.
I should have dressed up more. He's making me look like a chump.
I know. I can't even believe I didn't put Zach's name in here. We're gonna address that right now. Before we do that,
everybody knows Zack.
I know we're gonna put his name in there just because it's a classy thing to do. And then also let's see who we got in the chat. Oh man, we got Leroy Kong. Hello guys. We got Rajneesh.
Raj, how you been, man?
Raj, I had fun with him the other day on small screen. He was in there. That was great. He's got to work, so he won't be on for too long.
Fair enough, man.
Whoa.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming. We don't if we got you for 5 minutes or 30 minutes. We're just happy to have you. That's the deal. Snyder is on the globe, taking over everything. Agreed. Hey, look, it's Scarwall.
Hello, sweet sister of mine.
Hello. Oh, well, while we're at it.
Hello there.
I got my own version. Oh, look at this, Bobby. Hello, Bobby. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Bobby, how you doing?
Yeah, Rajneesh says hi. There's so much love in here. And what is this from last week? That's this overlay. What is that?
Oh, that's
that's just hanging out.
Justice.
Sweet Justice. We're gonna get rid of you, Sweet Justice. All right, man. This was like I said before. This was a fun time, a fun bunch of movies to watch. What did you think? While I do this graphic, tell me what you thought about this selection of movies that we got to do this time.
Yeah, I had a blast. I was trying to actually think of a Snyder movie that I haven't enjoyed, but I really can't. I've kind of loved him from the beginning. With he started out in horror, and 300 and stuff like that. Just great director. The new stuff's good. He didn't direct Army of Thieves, but he produced it and wrote the story, or helped write the story and stuff like that.
You know who directed it? The lead actor Dieter. The blonde-headed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the director. He's a German actor, director guy, and I didn't realize it. And I was looking at all these credits and stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, that name, and I kept looking back and forth, and yeah, it's him. So
no, I'd seen that it was a different director, but I didn't look the director up. That's pretty cool.
It's very cool. And I'm like 99.9% sure that I saw that, unless I'm crazy. Oh, I know I'm crazy, but yeah, I thought that was super cool. And he's a German actor and has done great in European films and stuff. And now he's doing American films, and I'm sure he's done several, but he's well known over there. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I didn't know anything about him. He's actually German. He's not just faking it.
So no, he is actually German for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I hate those fakers. Hold on here. almost.
Raj says, Snyder movies are always great. I do think that the best movies are the ones where he collaborates with other writers instead of writing and directing himself. Um, I kind of agree with that. I mean, definitely, whenever he did it with James Gunn, it worked really well. But he did right. I think I'm pretty sure I might be that he wrote and direct Army of the Dead, and that one worked out, pretty darn good. But yeah, I mean, usually that works better. If you get the best writer, the best director, you put it all together, that's gonna work out pretty darn well. But yeah, no, I really this I had so much fun this week.
I like this name better.
with all these movies.
We'll
King
give him
Snyder.
King Snyder, the legend. Nope. Oh, wait.
And it was just refreshing. We always talk the comic book movies, and not to rehash all that stuff or what could happen there and all, everything else. But it was good. I was so refreshing. The first time I watched it and the rewatch this time to see him go back to like his horror roots and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I like I think that's his zone for me. Like I think even 300 is an action movie, of course, but it like had the same horror elements, had the same idea going on.
I heard somebody else talking about. I think I was watching a heavy spoilers video or something, but and he mentioned, and he was completely right. He was like that Zack is playing in his own universe with unknown characters now, and there's no expectations. So there's like the fans can't can't say you didn't do it the way I wanted. The people, the suits can't do it either. These are all new characters that he invented. So it's like he's just got free will to do whatever he wants, and that's pretty damn cool, I think.
Well, I think so too, and I think that's like if it weren't for the suits at DC, never mind. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again.
Yeah, I mean,
talked about
everybody in the chat. We're going to try and talk about this stuff and not the other stuff. We're talking about the Snyderverse 2.0, not the 1.0. So but we can all agree that Netflix is just letting him do his thing, and that's super exciting. You know what I mean? Like he's doing his thing, and his thing is awesome. So we get to see a bunch of good stuff, and it's gonna keep on coming. We got so much stuff coming down the pike. Oh man, there's gonna be Army of Las Vegas. That's an anime show that's going to have be starring Tig Notaro, Jenna Malone, and Christian Slater. I'm like, Christian Slater? I was like, hey, that's cool. He's got a very distinct voice. I almost feel like him and Tig Notaro are going to kind of sound like the same person. How are you going to do that? There's Rebel Moon. Do you know about Rebel Moon?
I don't, and Raj was actually asking about it.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Rebel Moon is and I want to wait till Dustin gets here because he's to get into that. The first thing but Rebel Moon is a treatment that he wrote and pitched as a Star Wars movie that didn't get used, and he was like, all right, F you guys, I'm just gonna change a little bit and make a movie. So he's making a sci-fi movie that was originally going to be a Star Wars movie. It never got picked up. So I'm like, cool. He's pretty much getting to do whatever he wants. And, like, people are, that's weird. He's recycling. I'm like, when you write scripts and treatments and things like that, you spend years coming up with these concepts. You know what I mean? And like, some people don't. Some people just say, hey, what if we did this and this and this? But there's a lot of stuff that people have got kicking around in their brain for years. And if somebody doesn't want to make their movie, well, God bless Netflix for making it for him. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to see he's getting to do anything he wants. That's really cool. And what's cool?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and there's going to be a Planet of the Dead coming down the pike too. So that's going to be a sequel to. It's going to be a sequel to the Army of the Dead. It's going to be called Planet of the Dead, which made me think. I'm like, Planet. And then you got Rebel Moon, which is sci-fi. Is this going to turn sci-fi into the planet, and it's going to become like a sci-fi zombie time travel?
He's making the Snyderverse, whether you like it or not. It's coming, baby.
That's
He's
right, people. It's happening. Let's before we start talking about Dawn of the Dead, let's see what we got over here. What do you guys think of the up and coming Rebel Moon? Looking forward to hell yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Say what you want, but Zack Snyder is this year's MVP of cinema and Hollywood. Absolutely. Writing is in the rewriting. Exactly. So I'm very excited to see what comes about on Netflix, and they need him. You know what I mean? Like they definitely need a guy who can hit a home run, because Netflix has a lot of stuff and a lot of okay stuff. You know what I mean? But they need a super talented guy to do that. What were you gonna say?
And they made the contract with they've tried it before. They made the contract with
Ryan
can't believe I
Johnson's
don't
got
remember
one.
his name. Who's Ryan Johnson?
The guy who some people say ruined Star Wars, but he wrote
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Knives Out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize he wrote that. Okay.
Yeah, he wrote and directed. I'm pretty sure he directed. I know he wrote it. He got like $900 something million to do 3 more Knives Out. So, which made
okay.
and of course Daniel Craig is involved, so that kicked him up to being the most. He made so much money, it made him the top highest paid entertainer in the world.
Well, I could see his character recurring.
Yeah.
I could see that working.
So
But Adam Sandler, I remember they did it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you get a chance, look that up, because the cast of the up and coming Knives Out movies looks fantastic. There's what's her name? God, I'm having a hard time. The witch on the not Scarlet Witch, but the other one, Agatha, the one who plays Agatha. What's her name?
Okay.
Anyway, she's gonna be
Kristen
in it.
Schaal?
What's that?
Kristen Schaal?
No.
No, Catherine Schaal.
Catherine.
Hahn.
It doesn't matter. Somebody in the chat will say it. What do you call it? Anyway, they got Dave Bautista. They got a bunch of people in the up and coming movies. I'm curious to see how they're going to be. I actually haven't even seen the first one, so I shouldn't even be talking about it. Who the hell am I?
We got to save that. First, have a good evening, Raj.
Raj, have a great night.
Dreams.
Catherine Hahn.
Thanks for
yeah. Rajneesh, have a good night, bud. Hey, the good news is you can watch the replay tomorrow. And we'll throw you some high fives during the stream. And also, while we're at it, also want to mention give a big high five to Patreon members and Bobby, who's in the house. We appreciate your support. Special shout out to Angie and everyone else who supports us and always shows up. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on, as they say. Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Curtis?
Well, no, I was gonna say we've got to think of something to pair Knives Out with.
Knives Out.
We gotta make sure you see that.
Yeah, we can do Clue, and
that would be good. That'd be a very good one. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, Netflix started this a few years ago with Adam Sandler. They gave him a bunch of movie rights or movie deals, and all of those, like, they got good views, but they were just not good movies. A couple of them, the David Spade one I enjoyed. There was a couple of them that were fine, but most of them I just thought were terrible. But they got a lot of views and stuff like that, so I guess that's what they're meant to do. But and yeah, they've tried it with few other people, but like if they make some deals with Zack Snyder, it's almost always, yeah, like I said, he hasn't screwed up yet. Everybody's got their chance, but we got some good movies coming down.
The problem with Netflix movies is what they've been doing for a long time, and they've kind of tarnished their brand a little bit doing this, is they get a recognizable face that everybody loves this guy or everybody knows this guy. And it gets people when you're home with your wife or girlfriend or whatever, and hey, let's see what's on, and let's go look, and you go looking around and you're like, hey, it's, I don't know, Michael B. Jordan. He was really good in that other movie. Let's watch this. And then you watch it and you're like, oh, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. And then you're like, okay, let's Chris Helmsworth. Okay, let's watch it. And you're like, that's pretty good. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't. I mean, it was
What
all right.
wasn't a
I guess.
waste of time,
Yeah,
but
every single one of those. Oh, let's get Jamie Foxx. Oh yeah, let's watch this. Jamie Foxx is a brilliant actor. You go, this movie kind of sucks. And you're like, but Jamie Foxx has got enough charisma that he can carry the movie as long as he's not playing Electro. But like, I'm just kidding. The blue Electro.
no, you're not kidding.
You're not, but I hate talking smack about actors because they put their heart into their work. Except for Bruce Willis, who just does it for the paycheck now. But he just looks like he's mad. Which Bruno, don't come after me, bro. I was just kidding. But yeah, like so they do this, and then they make these lackluster movies. I feel like the majority of the budget just goes to pay this actor. Here, man, will you be in our movie? And then let's make a crappy movie. But we got so and so in it, so people are gonna watch because when you run out of everything, and you're like, dude, I've seen everything. You're gonna watch the thing that has Chris Helmsworth in it. You know what I mean? Because you're like,
Well-
maybe it'll get good, and then you're invested 30 minutes in. Maybe it'll get better, and then you're halfway through the movie. Well, we might as well finish it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it
finishing
sucks.
this turd.
Yeah.
No, well, that was the issue with. I mean, I'm gonna watch probably any Adam Sandler movie that comes out. Like,
Yeah. Let's be honest.
Like, yeah, I mean, especially if I'm just throwing something on, I'm gonna check it out. And yeah, a lot of them just really. I mean, not even like where they were like, oh, that wasn't that bad. A lot of times I'd watch the whole damn thing and I'd be like, God, that was bad. Like that was just like that wasn't a good
real
movie.
bad.
Like, yeah, I mean, and but again, they all had high views. They were Adam Sandler movies. There's plenty of people out there like just like me. They're like, all right, I'm gonna put this on. Sure, let's check it out. And so hopefully, Snyder will change that. And
Well, he already has, I think, because
I agree.
He's been cranking out quality, dude. Like I don't know about you, and again, we're not going to talk about Army of Thieves yet, because I want Dustin to be here because Army of the Dead and Army of Thieves kind of interlace into each other, and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. So let's start with Dawn of the Dead.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's start off by saying the first 10 minutes of Dawn of the Dead might be the best horror cinema ever. It's so good. The first 10 minutes is fantastic. It's not big budget looking. It looks kind of indie film cheap, a little bit, but it looks awesome. It's exactly what you want in a horror movie. Like, what do you think?
And that's now. I mean, like whenever I saw it the first time, like I didn't, notice as much as I notice now. Some of the digital effects and stuff like that, I definitely didn't notice it the first time. But I will say this: if anybody, I haven't really heard anybody talk smack about Snyder, but if anybody's like, "Oh, I don't like Snyder," this and that for whatever reasons, that guy can open a movie better than anybody out there. Like the opening of Dawn of the Dead is it's got to be at the top. Like,
It's so good.
whenever they kick the credits in, it's so good. Whenever they're asking the White House guy, is it this? We don't know. Is it that? We don't know. Like, are they dead? We don't know. And then the opening is one of the best ever.
It just looks like it was filmed in my subdivision. You know what I mean? And like the Toyota Corolla driving through the neighborhood, and the little girl on the it's like so like it's like my neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's so real. All of it, and like. And when that kid just starts running down the hall in the beginning, it's like and attacks her boyfriend or husband or whatever he was, like it's like holy crap, it's so good,
And
so good.
the jump that she does, the little girl, that jump is just perfect. When she chucks her down the hall,
and also they did a really good job of showing, like she's not sure, like. Everyone could say, oh, I wouldn't do that or I wouldn't do this. But like they did a really realistic job of like, oh, I got to help my boyfriend. And then like he goes crazy and turns into a zombie for a second and she hides in the bathroom. But then she's like still got to come out because it's like, oh, that's my boyfriend. It's like she's like, maybe he's okay now. It's like it's not like somebody who's watched Walking Dead that's like, hey, you got to hit him in the head. Hey, what's up, dude? Yeah, you got to hit him in the head. The bite's what causes it. All these things that we know because we watch zombie movies. In Dawn of the Dead, like, she's like figuring it out, and then all of a sudden the boyfriend's coming after her, and she manages to jump, get out the bathroom window, and then like the confusion of all the neighbors and everyone, and you got the guy there like with a gun, and then just gets slammed by the truck, and then everybody's just running for their lives, and like trying to get into her car, and he's like, "Brr!" She's like, "Brr!" Like kicks him and gets out of there. It's like, it's super realistic. Like, and I was saying before you walked in, it feels like it's in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, can I back you up on this?
Yeah, go for it.
Like that's the first movie where they did that. And Curtis and I like this Netflix show called Black Summer, and it has that feeling, like through the whole thing, the way the camera followed her and everything. But that was the first show that did that. Like Zack Snyder's the first person that figured that out, that you could show
Like,
chaos.
flip the switch like that.
Yeah, you could show chaos better by narrowing the view of the chaos instead of having a wider lens. If you narrow it down, the bandwidth of it to view the chaos through, it feels way more chaotic. Like when the girl like bites the husband or whatever, and he throws her, and she like hits the wall and like gets up. When she gets up, that is one of the scariest things. Like maybe The Exorcist.
You talking about when she gets out of the? Are you talking about
No,
in the
I'm
bathroom?
talking about when the little girl is standing there and then jumps up and bites the guy. Right?
Yeah.
He throws her off of him.
Oh yeah.
And she hits the wall, and then she gets up. And when she gets up, it's like the fucking scene in The Exorcist. We're like, fuck. And she fast mover zombies straight for the fucking door. And she's like talking out loud too. Do you remember where she's like, "Oh, did she get you?" Like in the carotid artery.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh shit, she got it." And she's like trying to like, apply pressure, and he bleeds out super quick. And then
that was the other thing too, is sorry, I'm messing with your camera. There we go. I was trying to get that light. There was a glare over your head. The other thing too is these zombies move so fast. Like they're sprinting. It's not beyond human capability.
Is this before or after 28 Days Later? We've talked about this before.
Yeah, but that's 28 Days Later is like superhuman speed.
But was
this
it
is
before
like
or after?
This is like Olympic speed.
28 Days Later came
after? It was later.
No. Dawn of the Dead was after 28.
Oh, okay.
But
but still,
the speed though, it's like my kids trapped under a car, human being adrenaline speed. You know what I mean? It's like there's a guy when they get to the mall. There's an Asian guy that's missing an arm. He's got his arm ripped off, and he's a zombie, and he is sprinting towards the door. And they're like, like he's running fast.
Yeah.
Like the actor must have plowed into the wall. Like they must have had pads, and he must have plowed into the wall because he is sprinting down the ramp.
It's fucking PCP fast.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, these guys are moving
These
fast.
motherfuckers on PCP.
I think I got so used to watching Walking Dead, where people are just bumbling around, slowly, that watching this, I was like, holy crap.
Clint and Curtis, can you imagine how pissed off George Romero must have been the first time he saw super fast zombies? Like,
he hates running.
No,
zombies.
That couldn't happen because rigor mortis and blah, 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 blah. Not if the zombie virus is pumping hydraulics through the body.
Adrenaline.
It's like running on, it's like a lion will kill you with its heart, dead. It'll still, with its heart stopped, a lion. They've shot lions on safari that were charging that still killed the guy because it had so much adrenaline pumping through its body.
Wow.
It didn't need blood. It was running on nitro. It was the nitrous, dog, quarter mile at a time. That's how I live my life.
Well, I also love when we're talking about the running. I also love how at the very beginning it shows like the attitude of the zombies, because her, Lewis, her boyfriend or husband or whatever, he's chasing her in the car like rah rah, and something catches his attention, and he just tears off like whatever's like
He just
Like, I
wants
don't care
lunch.
anymore.
He
It
doesn't
reminds
care who
me-
it is. It's not personal. He just wants lunch. And
It's
he's
like an animalistic thing.
Mhm.
It's like super
Mhm.
cool, like a dog that's just like
Mm-hmm.
fucking
Something
lost
shiny.
its mind.
Like,
Yep, totally.
oh, there's food.
hmm
Yeah, that was I noticed that too. I was like, that's awesome.
That's like that in Black Summer. Do you
Mhm.
remember the scene?
I
The
don't know Black Summer. What is that?
dude, it's this. So you know Z Nation, the funny zombie show or whatever. Black Summer is like a serious. It's in the same universe, but it's pre Z Nation is like kind of like after the apocalypse. Black Summer is like
Oh.
Shit's
like
going
Fear
down.
the Walking Dead is to
Mhm.
Walking Dead, but the way it's done. Hold on a second, I fell down. Viewing audience.
Look at me. I'm Dustin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe some other characters are with them, and then it follows the next character.
Oh,
so
cool.
you never know when somebody's going to die. You may get
They're
really,
switching it
really
up all
be
the time.
digging on a character, and they just die like sea monkeys. Like there's this Hispanic character that I loved. Like he's like, I'm just looking for my family, and he's paired up with this Japanese woman that speaks no English, right? And he's like, they're figuring it out, but they're kind of like paired up together. And then he just like, bip, he's dead almost insignificantly. Like imagine they're like running and then like, oh, he's not going to make it. Bam!
And then they just start following
And
her.
then they just follow some other thing. Yeah. And there's this one scene
good.
where it's like they're in the middle of, they're all trying to get to, I guess supposedly there's going to be evacuations from like a sports arena. So everybody's trying to get to the sports arena, and everybody's got guns, and it's extremely realistic because if Joe Public, just anybody that's not a gun person, people are accidentally shooting each other, and then that person turns into a zombie, and there's like all this crossfire and stuff, and it's like total chaos. And as like a gun person, you're like, oh my god! Like as I was watching that, I was just like, because But whoever was the producer and cinematographer,
He got it.
they captured the chaos of like, if everybody at Walmart had a gun and they're trying to fight zombies.
I kind of got that feeling in this movie. It
yeah,
was like,
that's exactly captured.
Yeah, it's distracting me.
Yeah. But without this movie, there are so many other zombie movies that couldn't be made.
Oh,
This
yeah.
was like this was like when No Effects came out. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, you can do punk rock this way. And it's like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Before that, we were like, oh, like the Misfits or something, or like Black Flag or something. No Effects comes on and is like, here, not hold my beer. Here, hold my Quaaludes. Hold my Xanax. They just like tore up the scene. This movie was the No Effects.
Was the door opener for other stuff.
Absolutely.
I loved the whole thing. The style, just stylistically, you could tell, like, it's funny to look at the stuff now and look back at that. You could tell it's the same style, but it's just, like, dialed back. And now it's like, okay, now it's like you got unlimited budget to do whatever you want. And you can tell he did the best, of course, he's getting better every movie that he does. So with the experience and the budgets that he had back then, and now you're seeing like the crazy all hell breaking loose.
Yeah.
Like do what you. It's kind of like George Lucas making the original Star Wars, and then like at least now, I almost put my foot in my mouth bringing up the prequels. Like it's like but George Lucas couldn't make the movies to look the way that he wanted to back then because he didn't have the effects for it. You know what I mean?
That Ewok technology.
Now, and he's like, okay, we're ready for it. They weren't ready for it. They were still figuring all that stuff out.
Yeah.
Now the new ones that are coming out now, he's not making those movies, but they finally figured out how to make those effects real. You know what I mean? Real looking to where the new Star Wars movies look fantastic. It's just a matter if they're written or directed well or not. Well, that's a different discussion. But what I'm trying to say is now it's like Zack Snyder. Look at it. You look at his old stuff. It's great. He actually made the perfect horror movie, and now his stuff is crazy. He can do whatever he wants because the effects and everything else are off the chain, you know. And even still, with the exception of some over the top crazy zombies, he doesn't kill overkill things. He's still very tasteful with stuff. I really love that he did his own camera stuff in Army of the Dead, even though there's a little out of focus stuff here and there, and that's a stylistic choice. But
yeah, I like that.
I do too.
Yeah,
Curtis, you look like you're about to say something.
Well, no, I was going to say, did the audio?
I can't hear you, buddy.
Y'all?
Did you? We can't hear you. I
yeah,
think
y'all's
let me see
audio
if he-
sounds weird.
Is he doing a bit, or did I mute him?
That would be so awesome if he just like jacked with us.
Yeah. Interview.
Yo.
Yeah, you're not. I think you're coming in now. Talk to me.
Hello.
No.
Nope.
Y'all's
We're not
audio
getting you, buddy.
cut out.
Weird. If you want, we can pull you out, and you just call me back. Maybe. Should I just hang up on him?
No way, dude. You get a knock on the door in 3 hours. You hang up on Curtis. It's 2.5 hours from his door to your door.
I think he's trying to text me. Y'all's audio is out now. It sounds weird. I think we sound great, dude.
Yeah. Hey, is Bobby or anybody out there?
We're gonna go-
Does
we're-
the live stream sound correct?
I'm just gonna pull it up here. We'll see how.
Oh fuck yeah, we got the technology here.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, is Bobby or anybody out there? Oh yeah, I sound wonderful.
We sound fantastic, Curtis. This is a. I was gonna say a Baker problem. This is a Curtis problem. I know how to say. Sorry, excuse me, guys, in the who are watching.
Oh, I did it. I hung up on Curtis.
Oh, you son of a
bitch.
you son of a princess.
He's gonna call me back. Now you can see how our
You son of a Spanish princess.
what is this? Oh, maybe it is me.
You son of a person that gives sweet
Yeah.
dulces besos.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
I don't know. Maybe stuff's messed up. I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's see here.
While you're trying to figure that out, bring me up to speed. What have you guys been talking about so far?
So far, we only talked about. Yeah, we're good, man. I don't know what I'm doing over here. We're just fine. We only talked about Dawn of the Dead.
Oh,
I
cool.
didn't want to get into all this other stuff until you were here because
Aw,
I
man.
think there's going to be some crazy stuff. So we started at 8:15,
Okay.
and then I ran a countdown clock until
8:30.
8:30. Yeah.
Man.
Curtis, you coming back, dude?
Do we have people in the chat?
Yeah, we sure do.
What are they chatting about? Chat it up, people. Chirp at me.
Boy, let's see here. Yeah, peeps. There he is. Curtis, where'd he go? Curtis, you there, buddy? All right.
Boom, boom, boom.
Hit this.
Boom, boom,
Hit this.
boom, boom, boom.
Papa, can you hear me?
Curtis, you there?
Yes. am I-
There we go. You're back.
Ah!
All right. That was weird. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
But we got it
Hey.
figured.
Sometimes you just have to want it really bad.
Yeah.
And I wanted it.
We're professionals, guys.
Yep.
We're professionals. Awesome. Well, let's talk about stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So-
So,
what?
you go ahead, Curtis.
No, well, I was just gonna say, what you were saying earlier about Snyder being able to play in his own, little playhouse with these characters and stuff. Now, he
Yeah.
kind of did that with Dawn of the Dead. I mean, really, it's besides the mall and the zombies, it's its own film, which was smart. He didn't try to do a shot for shot remake or anything like that because
Right.
you're not gonna, he updated it and it's almost a completely different story. And these characters are different, and he made them their own. I'm actually pretty surprised that a lot of those people didn't go on to like more stuff. You don't see them in that much.
Except for the dude that's the Playboy guy with the boat. He went on to do
yeah,
Ty Burrell.
Modern Family. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Family.
And
Yeah,
I've
the
seen
completely opposite character.
Michael Kelly in a bunch of stuff. He just doesn't look like the redneck. He doesn't.
Oh yeah, no,
he-
he's in a bunch of
He
stuff.
doesn't have the. He's
Yeah. He was fabulous in
he
this
was
movie.
really good. Let's see what.
That's actually like a lot of
he was in House of Cards. That's where I know him
a
from.
lot of like YouTube things that talk about leadership.
Mhm.
They're like, there's an uncommon type of leadership that like of personality type, and they always talk about that character from
You're
From
talking about
Dawn of the
CJ?
Dead?
from Dawn of the Dead.
CJ. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love CJ. His redemption is so great.
Yeah.
And
And
Sarah,
I've seen him in other stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Sarah Pauly. She was in.
who did the nurse? Who is the nurse? She didn't seem like she.
That's Sarah Pauly. She was in John Adams with Paul Giamatti. She was in Splice. She was in Story to Tell. Done a whole bunch of stuff.
did a whole bunch of Hallmark movies,
She
banging
was
them
in-
out,
she
banging
was
out the
in-
Hallmark rom-coms.
She was in Go back in the 90s.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Remember that movie?
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. Mr. Nobody. All right, there you go. She's great. I think she's really
Yeah.
good.
Seems like she didn't let Weinstein touch her or something
Hey
like
man,
that.
that's it. Not
That's
not
like
okay
a-
to. That's
no.
not okay to joke about. Canceled. Not okay. I feel like Sarah Pauly maybe should have done the Handmaid's Tale. Like she got
She could
got
have
screwed
done
out of
that.
that one.
She could have done that. She had a lot of range in this damn movie, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, I just obviously Bing Rames still gets plenty of work, but yeah, a lot of these guys,
Yeah.
I'm just
Bing
I'm
Rames
just
is
surprised, like,
badass.
Ving Rhames is my favorite part of this movie, actually. His stoic character.
my my favorite part of this movie is whenever they're going down to turn the generators on, and
God.
they're like, "Oh, you're coming with us?" And he's like, "No, you're coming with me. I've done this shit before." And it's like, when have you gone into a sub basement full
Yeah,
of zombies
that's
to
right.
turn on generator? When have you done that? What are you talking about?
In movies in the 80s, they'd start talking about being in the Nam. Back in the
Yeah,
Nam.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And Mekhi Phifer was in a lot of stuff back
Which one
in
is
the
that
day.
guy?
He's the guy who is the
Mhm.
father of the zombie baby. Which
Zombie
is a whole
baby.
Oh, Mackay. Yeah.
He's in 8 Mile.
Yeah, he was in Othello. No, he wasn't in Othello. He was in a couple. He was in a couple
Obsession,
of really
Paid in
good.
Full, Honey. Here's a
Oh,
bunch
Honey.
Of,
He was
yeah,
good in Honey.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
bunch
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I still know what you did last summer.
Dude, yeah, I was gonna say my only not negative critique, but the zombie baby thing, I probably could have done without. But I don't think even in terrible 80s zombie movies have they done zombie baby yet.
No, and it got people talking.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about the zombie baby.
They came
you know what I
back
mean?
and did zombie baby in Z Nation, if you remember.
Also, the whole time you're wondering, is the baby going to come out a zombie or a regular baby? You know what I mean? You're like wondering
Mhm.
the whole time until it goes down,
Yeah.
and then you're like, it's in his arms. Is it going to be? And then when they finally show it, you're like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really also noticed they dropped an F-bomb in that you don't say in movies anymore, but I was like, it's 2004.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the guy who orders a soy latte or something. Like he
Oh.
mentioned that, and I was like, oh, I can't. It was super weird to
Pulled a Matt Damon.
you pulled a Spicoli. You know, like it's so weird to hear old movies, say
Yeah.
that. I'm like, wow, it's really weird. And
But it fit that character though. Like that's
It-
what I mean. Like they nailed those, guys.
it was
pretty,
a
pretty good.
redneck. It was a bunch of dumbass rednecks that we all grew up with those people. So I mean, it makes sense.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was like, oh, it just caught me off guard. I loved how they stuck a snowplow on the front of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was super cool. I was like, cool. Then the other one's just got a grill, so he's gonna definitely go first, and they're gonna be,
Mhm.
I was like, I thought that was badass, and the chainsaw slot and down the
Yeah,
side of
dude.
it, I was like, that's super dope.
This spawned like a whole genre of video game too. I'm convinced that this was the movie that actually did
yeah,
it.
that's a good point.
And did you guys at all talk about the fact that this movie has a couple of different motifs? Like it's almost like a Gilligan's Island, like the way they use the mall thing. It's almost like a Gilligan's Island thing. And what the one dude on the roof has with the guy on the roof of the gun store, it's almost like a message in a bottle kind of thing going back
Yeah.
and forth. And it's super.
I loved that that
Yeah.
part of it. How they got like where they're like, hey, Jay Leno, and then he's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
poof, and it's like a game. They're like, oh, Rosie O'Donnell. Then they're
Yeah.
like Burt Reynolds, and it's like, oh, they got him. I thought that was super cool. That like put a big smile on my face. I'm like, that's funny that they're stuck there, and they're hey, you still got to have fun. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
And that absolutely would be the way it would be in real life. As soon as a week goes by and you're desensitized a little bit to it, you'd immediately be like,
yeah, you're like, all right, how do we entertain the chess thing too? I was like,
yeah, that's cool.
I was like, yeah, that's kind of a pain in the ass to have to write that down and then I was like, no way, dude, not if you're stuck. They're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you got all the time in the world.
Let's see. I thought also like when they finally get out of there and they make it to the boat and then the guy's bitten.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, and I knew that was gonna happen. I forgot. I hadn't seen the movie since it was in the theaters.
I knew that guy was weak sauce.
Yeah.
I knew he was going
And-
to get bit.
and I was like, oh yeah, I think I remember now. He's gonna help them get out of there and he's gonna stay. I was like, okay, and like how when he puts a gun up and then they move the camera, they don't show anything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I was like, oh, it's really stylistically is a really cool shot. You know
Good
what I mean?
choice.
Yeah.
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 And I also love that when they got to the island, that the place was overrun with zombies because it just it ends.
Yeah.
It ends, and you know that they're totally screwed. And like, I mean, they got a lot of ammo, but like they're pretty much screwed. And then it just goes straight into Jim Carroll band, people who died. You know what I mean? Which it could have been the worst movie ever, but if you end a movie with that song, it's fantastic. Like that's the ultimate song to put in a movie like
I
that.
feel like they could have cleared that island.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. Yep. I feel like you could
Yeah,
clear. I feel like with enough space and be able to retreat back to a boat, like pull the boat back a little bit, yeah,
Mhm.
you'd be able to clear the island.
If they did it right, yeah.
And then if you talk to Natchet, that's his zombie plan.
Is the
Yeah, there's a book that came out. Maybe it came out in the 90s, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was re-released in the 90s. But he likes it a lot. It's called Monster Island,
Mhm.
and I think Monster Planet or something like that. And it's characters where these zombies are like, some of them are total zombies, but some of them are like half zombies. Like they're zombies, but they can sort of think, and they're, but that's what they do. They figure out, they get an island, and they clear the island and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Natch told me about that a long time ago.
That's crazy.
Yep.
There's I hear and there are some swimming zombies, so you got to watch out.
Yeah, man.
You got to be way out there.
Yep. Let them swim. Then when they come up to the boat, yeah.
Hell yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's
Any-
cool they
any-
left that open. Like they don't, let you know if they got away or not, or if
Yeah.
they cleared the island or how, and so
I do like how, like, you know what I mean? They thought like, oh, it's going to be great. Clint's right. That's the perfect way to end it. Like, nah, bitch.
nope.
You jumped out of the frying pan into the fire. But I like if I had a zombie movie, man, post-apocalyptic style, I've never seen this before. Do you remember, like, there's a medieval weapon called a man catcher? It kind of looks like this. It has like it's like a half moon thing. It's got little spikes on it. It's instead of a spearhead, it's at the end of a long stick.
Oh yeah.
You get 2 guys with man catchers, 1 guy that has like a pike that doesn't have a hook end, that's just like a really sharp, metal thing that and then you have 1 guy that hits him in 1 leg and takes a leg out so it falls down. The other guy pushes the man catcher down on the head, and the third guy spikes it. And you have a bunch of 3-man teams that cruise around just like clearing.
Yeah. Or just 1 guy with a whole bunch of shotgun shells.
Yeah, that won't work.
Well, I always thought why don't they should have
you always get overrun.
No, you do it. You do it. You got to make a bunch of noise and be on the boat a little bit too far for them to get to you.
I think you
And maybe you snipe them from the water.
I think you have a 10-22 high cap mag.
Now we're talking, and you
with
snipe them from the boat
with a red dot. Yep.
But you gotta bait them. You gotta make a bunch of noise
But the shotgun guy, he gets overrun.
every time.
It's good to be in close quarters and have a shotgun. Like, that's no doubt. It's like that's the thing that's like the popping a tick's head, like, for sure, like on these zombies, like but yeah, it's too hard to load. And in every zombie movie, it's just like the sheer numbers fly over the top. It's like Aliens. Remember in Aliens where he's like, "You want some?" And they're just like, keep coming.
Yeah.
I always thought they should have like a
Yeah.
window or a window or like a hole, just and like the zombies just like get curious and go and stick their head through
Like
it,
a
and there's
zombie
somebody that just
glory
lops-
hole. Yeah,
they just
totally.
Dude,
lops
I haven't
their head
seen
off like
I haven't
anything.
seen Aliens since 1985.
You're fucking wrong. You need to
Just-
go watch
There's
that
just
again.
a lot of movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do need to.
It's badass. Paul Reiser is the ultimate sleazebag in that movie.
Oh, for sure. Well, let's guys. We talked about Dawn of the Dead. Now we're gonna get into some
Yeah, I love
Army of Thieves. Do you have any last thoughts on Dawn of the Dead?
I love George Romero, but if you're and he's a legend and all that, and he's like the Stan Lee of zombie movies. But if you're being honest with yourself, this is a better movie.
Yeah,
it's
I'll-
definitely more fun.
Yeah,
And if you haven't seen it in a while, check it out again. It still holds up. It's
it
still
definitely holds up.
yeah.
I've always loved it, but it's great.
In fact, you wouldn't have the intro scene of like famous zombie movies, like even like what's the one with the funny one?
Shaun of the
World
Dead?
War Z.
Not World War Z. It's like not Z Nation. What's the one where the
Book of Z.
Shaun of the Dead?
No, it's got what's her name from Superbad, and she was in she was the girlfriend in one of the Spider-Mans, and then what's the dude from Natural Born Killers?
I don't know, but Woody Harrelson. Zombieland.
Zombieland. That whole intro of Zombieland, you wouldn't have that intro if you didn't have Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, of course.
It's like,
Dawn of the Dead paved the way.
yeah, paved the way for so many. So it's a better movie. That's my last thought.
You talking about
Yeah,
Emma
reinvigorated the
Stone and
Emma Stone.
and Woody Harrelson in Zombieland?
Oh, yeah.
With Bill Murray cameo. Never heard of it.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, there you
It
have it, guys.
reinvigorated zombies. They were zombies were kind of stale for a while there, and then this came along. And there was a whole new zombie boom. I mean,
Yeah.
Zombie Boom. That's a good band name.
it is.
All right, let's talk about let's move into some new stuff that's on Netflix. Army of the Dead came out several months ago, and then we just got Army of Thieves. Holy smokes. These are some fun movies. Did you guys get to see both of those?
Did.
Yep. Man,
Yes, sir.
I really enjoy. I didn't know what to expect from Army of Thieves, and it turned out to really just be a straight up heist movie, which I love. You got a team of people going on a quest to get something done. An Ocean's 11, if you will. That's what I love those movies. Like that's great. In fact, I still haven't seen Money Heist. Have you seen those Netflix Money Heist shows?
Didn't see Money Heist.
They're on like season 5
Yeah,
now
it's
of
suppo-
that. It's supposed
yeah,
to be
I know it's
fantastic.
supposed to be good.
They're
It's one of
dubbed.
those things.
I just haven't seen them yet, but I need to go back and watch those. I've heard from so many people. But anyway, it's great. It's a heist movie. It takes place 6 years before Army of the Dead. This was produced by Zack Snyder and directed by Matthias Schweighöfer. I can't say that name.
Schweighöfer, I think.
Schweighöfer?
I think it's Schweighöfer.
Schweighöfer, which made me wonder if he was making a joke about his real name when he was like, his name is Sebastian, weird last name. They kept making that joke in the movie. He's the director of this movie. So he might have actually been making a joke about himself,
Yeah.
which would be really funny, being that, in real life. So, but maybe not. And I'm just a incompetent douchebag for not being able to pronounce his name.
A bunch of people can. It's
No,
the
I think
umlaut.
you're
It's
right.
these
I think you're right.
sneaky umlauts.
Yeah.
That
But yeah, Dieter is his name, but that was a confusing thing too. Is I'm reading the credits while I'm watching this. I looked up some of the credits to look at the actor's name and stuff like that, and I'm looking for Sebastian, and it says Dieter in the thing, and I'm like, like in the credits it says Dieter, but his
Yeah.
name is Sebastian, and that's because we find out that his name gets changed to Dieter, and that was a nickname of a superhero that he made of himself, where he pretend he would be this character and crack safes and
That was an
stuff.
awesome part of the story.
Yeah, the whole
That
story.
he created the persona.
Yeah, as a child,
Yeah.
and tells her about it, and then
Yep.
and then later she ends up putting it on his fake passport. And I was
Yeah.
like, I thought that was great. I thought this movie was super fun. I thought the cast was fantastic.
Mhm.
Like the whole cast was really good. You got Rubio Fee was Karina, who was like the hacker and DJ hacker chick. She was super cool. And they joke about her pirating the Pirates of the Caribbean. I heard that actually happened
that
in real
actually
life,
did
but it
happen.
was a different Pirates. I think it was Pirates 5
It
or
was
something.
5. They
Yeah.
tried to ransom it.
Yeah. So it was kind of a nod to that. I think that was awesome. You got like Natalie Emanuel, who plays Gwendolyn Starr, who's like the badass. She's Khaleesi's right-hand woman in
Grey Worm's girlfriend.
Yeah, in Game of Thrones, she's badass. You got Matthias. He was awesome, and he was my favorite character. Besides the character played by Raul Castillo in Army of the Dead, who is my old biology partner and friend. But yeah, and you got Stuart Martin plays Brad Cage. The guy changes his name to Brad Cage. The combination
the
of
fake Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, totally.
and like, dude, I want this guy to be the new Wolverine. And like, I thought, dude, I looked it up. He's 6'2". He might be too tall to be Wolverine. And then I looked it up, and Hugh Jackman's 6'3". So this guy's shorter than Hugh Jackman. Guys, we got our Wolverine. Like we don't. Well, the search is over. He's definitely got it. I loved the Interpol detective. He was like pissed and awesome.
He was rad.
Yeah, he was really good. Everybody in this movie shined. They were all good. I thought they did a good job.
This is the first movie in a long time that didn't make Interpol look completely incompetent. Like, I mean, I know they didn't nail everybody, but they were like hot on the
I'm
trail.
like, that's what the movie was about, is making Interpol incompetent.
These were the best. Like,
Yeah.
that guy was like hot on the trail. You know what I mean? It's like, in a lot of movies, they're like, Interpol. They're like some Bush League, like, they're like the Coast Guard of the international fucking, law enforcement.
Yeah, they they always knew where to go, but they're always one step behind. That's what was fun. I loved even like when they're cracking safes. You're watching the gears. They show the gears, and you're watching things turn, and then all of a sudden you see it go. And you're like, yeah, you're like celebrating when they're unlocking these. And for those who don't know, this movie, like, basically there was a locksmith named Hans Wagner who was devastated by the loss of his wife and son, and he made this series of series is the wrong word. He made 4 saves that were based on the Richard Wagner cycle of epic music dramas.
Wagner, yeah.
Yeah, Wagner, excuse me. Sorry, Dustin.
It's all
I
right,
don't want
man.
your wife to get on
This
me.
is actually my favorite part of the movie. That it's a movie inside a movie.
Yeah.
Like it's a story inside a story.
So they're based on this the ring. They call it the Ring, but it's they're epic music dramas. Der Ring des Nibelungen. For
Close enough.
yeah. But and it's a crazy epic story, and they have these different safes. One of them's the Rheingold, the Valkyrie, the Siegfried, and the Gotterdamrung. Gotterdamrung. All right. And so each one is named something different, and they're all in like this drama. I read up on it a little bit, and it's interesting because each one of those music dramas is designed to either stand alone or work together and be one piece, but they all fit together. But there's something interesting with these.
They're like an operatic Voltron.
Yeah, it's really weird. But this guy, he's been like studying. He was just a nerdy guy who is a wannabe safe cracker since he was a kid, and he's got a YouTube channel about cracking safes, and he talks about all this stuff. He knows all of the legend behind this stuff. But this Hans Wagner guy, he basically loses his wife and kid, makes these saves, and basically he's in so much grief that he just locks himself in one, and they end up dropping it into the ocean. But they're supposed to be kind of legendary, but they and they turn up anyway. Somebody shows up and gets him in a contest, a locksmith contest, cracking safes
That
in
was
this
badass.
in this underground contest, and he figures out who it is and ends up in a coffee shop with Khaleesi's right hand woman.
Mhm.
And next thing you know, he's joining the team, and they're gonna go bust into this series of safes, and he's super stoked. He's not a criminal, but he loves safes so much he can't pass this up. So he goes off to do this, and all this craziness ensues. And it turned out to be a really fun movie. I really enjoyed this movie. They had Tanaka, who's the billionaire that pays the people in the Army of the Dead to go in and crack that safe. And that safe in Army of the Dead is the Gotterdamrung.
The Gotterdamrung.
Yeah, and so it's pretty crazy that these things, like, you watch this movie and you're like, oh, it all fits together. This is cool, and it's the same character from the one that we saw, and there's a lot of things. I'm gonna let Dustin and Curtis talk for a minute, but like, there's a lot of things that I was looking and trying to remember the other one. I need to watch it again, but these things tie in, especially if you remember there was like time loop stuff possibly.
I was going to talk about the time loop
And
shit.
yeah, and then I started wondering if Hans Wagner ended up going in there. Is there some kind of time? Is this a time machine safe thing? Like, did he go in there to die, or did he go in there to travel through time and end up with his family somewhere else in another timeline? And I'm like, this thing just got deep. Like, this got crazy, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. But go ahead.
I think it's really interesting that Curtis just stopped me and start talking about it. Be like, I want to talk about that, but he keeps dreaming that he's going to be killed by zombies, and I feel like that's like more than just like foreshadowing. I feel like and behind him in a couple of scenes, there's like this code. So I fully am like, I don't even care if Snyder comes out later and says there's no time loop. We're gonna like co-opt this movie and like retcon it, because with the code and I'm dreaming about zombies killing me and all that shit. And then if you remember in Army of the Dead, where he saves what's his name, who's basically Omega from the Gotterdamrung thing, he sacrifices himself like Wagner,
Yeah, exactly.
and so that's like it's like a complete like circle thing. It's super well written. It's unbelievable that they were like, let's make these two completely different stylistically.
I think his name was Vanderoe.
Vanderoe,
Yeah.
he's badass too.
Yeah, he's
like
really badass.
I don't know if I'm spoiling anything or stealing your thunder, but
Not at all.
they've announced that there's going to be Planet of the Dead. That's the next project.
I've got all. Well, we already talked about that a little bit. There's a Planet of the Dead. There's also Army of Las Vegas, which is an anime thing that Tig Notaro, Christian Slater, and Jenna Malone are all going to be
Shout
in.
out to Christian
It's
Slater.
all going to be. I said Christian Slater's voice and Tig Notaro. They're going to sound like the same person.
No doubt. Yeah.
But if we go by Heather's, I'm just kidding. Let's see here, and Planet of the Dead is going to be a sequel to Army of the Dead. But it's crazy. Like, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff. Like in the Thieves epilogue, when they find at the end of the movie, they show when they find him in a locksmith shop, and it's Gwendolyn's locksmith shop. Who is Gwendolyn? But like they start showing him the thing. Hey, we need help to break into this safe, and he sees it. He's like, oh, and he says, it's a doorway to another realm, my friends. A providence has brought you to me. We go through it together, you know. And I was like, is he being metaphoric, or is this literally a doorway? Like, is this a time travel thing? They also say some things like, hey, yeah, as soon as we got to do these in order, and once we do, then the ring begins again. Like, there's a couple of lines that they have. Yeah, I believe the locks are meant to be opened in order of the story. Then the cycle becomes anew, is what he says. So I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm wondering, is this a time thing? Because they show in Army of the Dead, they show the corpses that are dressed the same. They have a bandana,
So
they have
badass.
a Hawaiian shirt, and then they have one of them has the key around her neck, and they're like, whoa! And then if you zoom in, the one who has the key around her neck, the corpse has 3 loops on the key. The one who's who's still alive, who's wearing the key, there's 4 loops. So it's like, is there a new key loop every time they go through the time loop?
Well, there's 4 safes.
Yeah.
So that might have been the final cycle.
There's that. There's so many things, and I wrote down here numerology. You know, like they did a lot of weird number stuff with like 3 and 4, numbers 3 and 4, and like
the code behind them.
Yeah,
on the windows and on the other code.
And then also when he shot one of the zombies, he's like, I shot her 3 times, and then the other guy goes 4. That happened in Army of the Dead.
Oh yeah.
And so there's like a bunch of weird stuff, and like I went down a rabbit hole on YouTube watching a bunch of I was like watching time loop theory videos. I watched like several of them, and I go, these people are nuts. And then I was like, no, maybe they're onto something. And I wonder if it's a bunch of coincidences, because people do that. Like, if you want to find a conspiracy, you will find things and make them fit. People do it all the time. If you add up the number of letters in his name plus his age, it equals this, which is complete bullshit. It's a coincidence. So I just wonder.
Yeah. Wait. What the hell are y'all talking about? Like, what are you talking about?
There's code.
I know the line.
No, but there's
where he's like, go ahead.
I'm making fun of numerology when I say if you add up the number of letters and the guy, that's just some random shit. I'm saying it's like,
no, but I mean, like,
but in the movie, there's a bunch of weird shit going on in this movie. I don't know if you noticed.
And it's also funny how how little they make of the fact that there's corpses dressed exactly like them, and they barely say anything about it.
Yeah, and also, like,
and the Omega is the only one that's fucking notices it or says anything.
You got Karina, the hacker, driving the van, and they're like, yeah, blah, 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 my dreams. I keep having these dreams about zombies. And she's like, maybe they're predictions. Maybe they're premonitions.
Yeah.
You know, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are they premonitions? Is he remembering different time loop versions of himself? Or is this just a completely normal heist movie and we're all crazy? You know what I mean? Because he is seeing, and for those of you who haven't seen the movie yet, I haven't really finished even describing the movie, but they're going in, breaking into these safes, and they're not even taking all the money. They just want the prestige of saying that they broke into these legendary safes,
which is pimp.
Meanwhile, this is in Europe. Meanwhile, in the United States, there's a zombie apocalypse happening, but it hasn't made it to Europe yet. And
COVID hasn't crossed the pond yet.
Yeah. So it's like it's pretty crazy. So he keeps having dreams about zombies getting him, but it makes sense because they're all over TV. But but some of these zombie scenes that he dreams look just like sequences that are in Army of the Dead if you look at them. And there's even like a dream where the zombie grabs him from behind and pulls him in.
Like Zeus does.
Yeah, and Zeus does
during.
it in Army of the Dead. So like, are these kind of memories of other timelines? And I'm like, of course we got a heist movie that turned into a zombie movie that now is turning into. It's now turning into to time travel, and then it's going to have planet army. What is it? Army of the Planet. I'm just kidding. Planet
of the Dead.
Of the Dead, and then if they connect Rebel Moon and this. Do you know about Rebel Moon?
Yeah.
Yeah. If they connect these two, where all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, he says planet. This is Planet of the Dead, and then you got Rebel Moon, sci-fi movie. Are these two going to be like that? Would... Yeah. So holy crap, Curtis.
Okay, so I didn't do any of that, but you know, also there are robots, zombie robots in Army of the Dead, right?
Yeah.
So.
I feel like those are
just throwing
government
stuff in there.
plants. I feel like those are like automaton, like government plants. Like they're trying to figure out, like they're trying to watch these alien zombies, which effectively Zeus is probably some kind of alien mutation, right? Like John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars style.
And there's also theories like
that's what I think anyway.
There's also a theory that Dieter survived. Like he gets pulled and lets the other guy get away, and it pushes him in the safe, and then gets pulled back by Zeus. But there's theories that like Zeus didn't kill everyone. He pulled I think Gita was her name. He pulled this one lady and held her hostage. I think
right.
He's smarter than just a normal zombie. He's like, okay, I'm gonna hang on to this one. I don't need to kill this one, maybe, or I don't know.
He might have been like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker to get me back in the safe and eat Omega.
Yeah, well, Zack Snyder was on Film Junkies, and they asked him about this. Is it possible that Dieter is still alive? Which he's been in the first two. Is he going to be in the next one? Which would be crazy. Zack Snyder says, by the rules of horror, if we didn't see the character die, that means they can always return.
By the power of grace.
That is the rules of horror. If you don't see it happen, they can come back. So he's teasing that. So I really hope. And also he does a lot of talk about like, don't worry, you're going off to jail, but one day we'll be reunited in what the hell's that thing? In Gotterdammerung.
Yeah, which is cool, which is what the final Wagner thing's about.
Yeah, so does that mean maybe he's not dead and we're going to see him in the next movie? And maybe this is a time travel device or some kind of weird thing. I don't know. This is getting crazy.
Well, if they do that, it needs to be 4 movies. So you've got Thieves.
I was thinking the same thing.
You've got Thieves, you've got Lost Vegas, and you've got Army of the Dead.
Lost Vegas, I think, is going to be a series, though. I think it's an anime series. I don't think it's going to be a movie. I might be wrong. It might be an anime movie, but you're absolutely right. It should be 4, not 3. Not a prequel, a quadruple.
And if fucking Zack Snyder was like, I'm going to remake this fucking super powerful German fucking opera into badass zombie movies.
Into time travel?
If he did that, if he's just like, I'm going to turn Wagner's greatest fucking achievement into 4 badass zombie movies, I'm going to fucking fall in love with that guy.
He's like DC.
So are we saying?
No, he's like, oh, DC, you're about to go multiverse with your Flash movie. Okay, I'm gonna go multiverse before you guys
I'm gonna
do.
go zombieverse.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, we'll go zombieverse with multiple timelines.
So are y'all say? So are we saying that Dieter is Siegfried and Gwendolyn is Brunhilde, or
kind of? Yeah, that's what they're trying. That's a parallel they're trying to. That's a parallel they actually make. See, what I like about the Thieves is they actually go through each. Like it's almost like the different ones are chapters as they go through the safes. It's almost like it's kind of cool.
And
Yeah, it was very cool. I just didn't catch any of that. Like I'm gonna have to rewatch it now.
I started wondering if Hans Wagner knew, like if it's just a lonely old guy that killed himself, or is there something weird to this machinery, like something.
It'd be cool if they implied some kind of alien technology.
Or yeah,
Like he was a Nazi, like he got some, like the fucking bell. That they say the Nazis reverse engineered this bell anti-gravity thing, and that was like a found alien thing that they reverse engineered. It would be really cool if they were, because I know they're going to incorporate the aliens somehow. Which, by the way,
oh yeah, there's aliens in it
yeah,
too.
yeah,
I forgot about that. There's aliens in Army of the Dead.
And you know what?
Wait, what aliens? I know they talk about them, but what aliens?
No,
like-
you see a UFO.
Area 50, Area 51, when they're leaving, there's like two flashes. They go,
Oh, I didn't notice that.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, go back and check that
There's
out.
a lot of crazy stuff in this movie.
I had to go back and check that out. I was like, holy shit. And by the way, I know we're not there yet. We're still talking about Thieves, but is there a more pimp way to start a zombie movie than like somebody getting some roadhead and then like run directly into a semi, it blows up in fire, and like, the king of all
we talked about
zombies.
earlier. Zack Snyder started a fucking movie, man. Like he just knows how to do it for sure.
It's like, what's going on. Like in that car, you're like, oh no, not now, not this, not
never
this
ends
way,
well.
not this way.
So one thing that I did after rewatching Zombie of Thieves that I did want to see more of, or no, after Army of the Dead, I watched it after Army of Thieves. They should have shown Dieter dealing with more booby traps, because in the movie he like knows what's up with the booby traps in Army of the Dead, and they never have to deal with that with the other safes. They're all Tanaka safes.
Yeah.
So they should have put more of that in, knowing that it was a prequel. But
You're saying in Army of the Dead, he knows about the booby traps, or in
Time loop.
Yeah.
That's why he knows. Time loop.
Time loop, man. He's done those a bunch of times.
Fourth ring.
Yeah. It's the fourth time.
All
They
right.
also find blueprints in the casino floor.
That was.
Well,
There's another set of
Remember when we first talked about this movie just over the phone, and I was like, dude, this movie is like an onion. There's like three things going on.
Yeah.
And the dude, what's his name? The Omega. I keep calling him Omega because he's the Omega zombie for sure.
Are you talking about Zeus?
No,
Or are you talking about Vanderho?
Vanderho, or what?
He's the one who makes it, who escapes at the end.
He's got the Omega tattoo. He's
Yeah.
gonna be the Moten Gator.
He's the one
main
who's gonna
zombie
who's
that's
gonna
be in Planet Zombie.
he's gonna take it. He's gonna take it international because he's on a plane, and it's gonna end up spreading at the airport.
But that dude is like the meta dude. He's always talking about stuff. You know what I mean? And then he like says like, this is, blah, blah, blah. And that glazes over, and people probably thought like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like your fucking basic B that watches the movie. But I locked onto that, and not that I'm not a basic
thanks.
B, but I locked onto
Thanks,
that. I was
Dustin.
like,
You're
holy
basically
crap.
just describing me.
No, man, I'm sorry.
Like
Watch
your
it again,
basic CB3.
It was like that was my favorite part of the movie. And I'm like, I can't believe they just like barely gave a head nod to that. Nobody in the party was like, well, that's fucking weird that these corpses are wearing our exact clothes, with our, pieces of flair on them.
Yeah, that's super weird.
Yeah.
It's not kind of weird.
But they didn't, like, it wasn't like a big deal.
No, they didn't make a big deal
It's
of
like
it
in
at all.
a dream. Like I'm talking to my mom, but she's a cat. And she's, she's doing laundry, but it's all like Chinese noodles is what the laundry is. But it's not a big deal because it's in
weird.
a dream. It's not weird,
Yeah, that's weird when you see yourself decomposed sitting there. You found another set of blueprints.
Yeah.
And it's also weird how Vanderho was talking about it all matter of fact. It's almost like he knew something. You know what I mean? Like he's like,
I love that
it's
character.
a time loop. Blah blah blah. Maybe we've been here before. And also, there's a whole bunch of guns that are sitting there, like for maybe the number of times they've been through the time
Yeah.
loop that were like leaned up against the wall in the corner. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I love all the stuff Zack Snyder does in that movie, Curtis, that he doesn't even mention. Like the robot zombie. You know, you're like, wait a minute, what the hell? And it's like, can't be an accident. You know what I mean?
No, well, he just put it in there for fun. He was like, "Yeah, why not?" Like, there's an interview with him, and he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Yeah, just put a robot in there. I don't know, let's have fun." But maybe it means something.
Maybe. Maybe he's a fucking genius. Like he just made art like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. You can't like explain that to somebody. Like the reason
I
behind
think
it all.
I think he made Army of the Dead, and then figured all this shit out. Like, I don't think he had this pre-planned. Like, I think he made Army of the Dead, and he was like, "We could do some stuff with this."
You think he
know?
threw it all up on a canvas like a Jackson Pollock,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Well, that
Like
one
he said,
kind of
he's
looks
like,
like."
"I just wanted to have." He was like, I just wanted to have fun with a movie again because all those years working
Yeah.
in DC, he was like, I just wanted to make this movie and I wanted to have a fun movie and like do whatever I wanted with it. And yeah, that's what he was saying about the robot. He's like, yeah, there's a robot in there. He's like, why not? Why not put a robot in there? And then now, like whenever he made the prequel and stuff, he's like, well, maybe we can do something with this.
If you were like the shadow government and you had like an alien zombie under wraps and it got out of control and you were somehow able to like quarantine off Vegas, you'd totally put a like zombie drone in there.
Terminator.
You'd call Boston
Terminator.
Dynamics. You'd call Boston Dynamics and say, "Hey man, how fast can you whip us up a zombie drone?"
Zack, I looked up this thing I'd saved earlier. Zack Snyder says the real adventure would be to see what happened to Dieter when the safe door closed. Snyder told Inverse, "Did he get killed by Zeus or not? What happened? We don't see him die on camera, and there's still some time left. I won't tell you what happens in Army of the Dead 2, aka Planet of the Dead, but let's just say." There's a chance Dieter survives.
I want to know where the hell he goes.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, I want to know where the hell he goes with that atomic explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he finds another safe.
Maybe.
Well, you really only need about 3 feet of dirt.
Yeah, well, he would get out of there and maybe find a vehicle and get the hell out of there. Maybe ride a zombie tiger out of the.
It's just like Zeus. You just wait till the blast is over, and then you can pop out.
Irradiated.
Try to avoid. It's not really as irradiated as people think. That's why they can keep like going back to those blast sites, like the ones where it's got like school buses, those little test sites in Nevada.
That's why Harrison Ford was able to live.
Live by hiding in the fridge. And that gopher.
I'm talking about Blade Runner 2049. He's living in the irradiated zone.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Let's see if we got anybody in the chat. We got 3 in the chat. Or compelling chat. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got constant, persistent radiation, that's one thing. Like the way Chernobyl was like, whatever.
We hear him.
But if you have something that was just like,
she's talking about when we were having trouble. iZombie. Go ahead, Dustin. Talking about radiation.
If you can block the radiation from getting into your thyroids, your thyroid absorbs the isotopes. By taking one of those, they have pills that like block it. They have like iodine type pills that block the radioisotope from getting into your thyroids. You can avoid your skin will block 90, let's say 85% of the radiation that's left. Now the fallout is real fucking deal. You better have an umbrella or be able to get away from that fallout. The actual ash is all radioactive and stuff. But they've done studies on it. If you can live past the initial blast, you probably will live a terrible short rest of your life, but it's like completely survivable. The initial blast shockwave is what will have the mega death.
Megadeath, yeah.
And then the subsequent radiation is you could mitigate that.
I have some information about Rebel Moon.
Sweet. Preach.
Zack will co-write and direct Intergalactic Adventure, and this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. adventure inspired by Japanese filmmaker Akira Kurosawa and Star Wars, which is awesome. Because who doesn't want space samurais? That's awesome. Zack Snyder's gone from zombie apocalypses to ancient Greece to nightmares to Metropolis. Now the filmmaker is going into faraway galaxies. Snyder has set his next project, an epic sci-fi fantasy titled Rebel Moon, that he is co-writing, and he will direct and produce for Netflix. The home of his most recent hit, Army of the Dead. Let's see here. Snyder's co-writing this with Army co-screenwriter Shay Hatton, who co-wrote 300. Let's see here. I'm skimming down here. It's a bunch of industry business boring stuff. Okay. The story is set in motion when a peaceful colony on the edge of the galaxy is threatened by armies of tyrannical regent named Belisarius. Desperate, the colonists dispatch a young woman with mysterious past to seek out warriors from neighboring planets to help them make a stand. This is me growing up with Akira Kurosawa, growing up a fan of his, and a Star Wars fan, Snyder tells The Hollywood Reporter. It's my love of sci-fi and a giant adventure. I hope this also becomes a massive IP and a universe that can be built on. And he also said it's a romantic sci-fi film on a scale that is just frankly as big as you can make a movie. So that's
badass.
that's exciting.
Is that Akira guy? Did he do the original Seven Samurai?
I think so.
So this could be basically like the Magnificent Seven in space.
Basically.
That would be badass.
Yeah. What do you think of that, Curtis?
I think it sounds good. I don't know if it ties in though. It seems like it's going to be a standalone though.
I hope it is a
but maybe it
standalone.
does.
You ain't got to show off, Zack Snyder. You had me at a low.
All right. One thing that bugged me after rewatching Army of the Dead is this. Besides the y'all's quantum loops that y'all are talking about earlier, why didn't Tanaka just give him the combination to the safe? Why do they need a safe cracker? It's his safe.
Is it his safe?
It's his safe. He says the insurance already paid me for the money because it's about to be blown up. This is go in and get this $200 million. It's his safe. All the other ones in Army of Thieves were his safe. They all stole all the money from him.
You just found a badass.
Just give him the
plot
combination.
Hole. Totally, dude.
You don't need a safe
plot
cracker.
hole.
Look, maybe bring a safe cracker to make sure he does it correctly, but like
Right.
that doesn't need to be cracked. They're his safe. In Army of Thieves, yeah, they're stealing it, but like this is his money. It's his. Like I was like, what? I don't get it. So in the chat, hopefully prove me wrong, but like I was like, what the hell's going on here? Like, and I didn't catch that the first 2 times. I just caught it this time.
That's hilarious. And I doubt it's not like he got reimbursed for the
$200 million.
From the insurance.
Yeah,
but because
he said it was insured, it's my money. I've
That's-
already got the check.
we need to ask Zach that.
yeah, man. You find out that the real deal was they're trying to get the zombie head,
Right?
Because that was worth more money than what was in the safe or whatever. But yeah,
Mhm.
why did all these people? Why did what's his name? What's the guy's name from? I want to call him from
Batista.
Batista. Yeah, I want to call him his name from what's it called? Guardians of the Galaxy. Why isn't he like?
Drax.
Why don't you just have the combination?
Yeah,
Seems like
give me
that
the
would be like
combination.
movie over.
Question 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
cool.
it,
So
like,
what's
you-
the combination?
You could say, like he did it so that it would take him longer, and then his guy could get away, and they could all die.
Yeah.
But yeah, why wouldn't Batista be like, yeah, I'm not going in there without the combination, dude. This is your
Yeah.
fucking safe. Like, like, what's the problem here?
Unless somebody tried to access it and it locked it down or something weird. I don't know. No, because he was trying to crack it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Weird stuff.
Curtis,
And
you're
nobody- yeah,
badass. You could just drop your
You
mic
just-
right now. You
Yeah.
just fucking like,
Doomp.
yeah.
I missed all that other stuff, but
Yeah.
I caught that one thing. So
That's hilarious. That's great. Yeah, that's a good question.
You couldn't keep offering people less money though if you just stopped right there. You know how
What do you
as
mean?
it goes on in Army of the Dead, as it goes down the chain, they're
Oh,
offering
yeah.
everybody less and less money as it goes down. For $50,000,
Yeah, that's I'm mind blown by that. Actually, I'm just keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. They did stupider stuff than that in '80s movies that I love, so I'm not too I'm not
Yeah.
too
Yeah,
bothered. But
no,
Curtis,
yeah, it doesn't kill me or anything like that. But I was just thinking, like, why the hell? Especially if you use the safe cracker as
Yeah.
for the prequel. Like, that's probably why I didn't notice it the first time.
Mm.
But he's got I just watched the whole movie about this guy, and it's like, well, wait a minute, why does he even need to crack it anyway? So
yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe Tanaka wanted to fuck this guy over because he cracked all his other safes.
That's a good theory.
Be like, hey, yeah, you know,
That's his way of if there's $200 million, the only guy that has already cracked my other 3 safes that really wants, he has to want to complete the circle or the
Yeah.
cycle. You know, like he'll come out of the woodwork maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Damn,
But-
Curtis, you just like popped a bunch of
Yeah.
people's like shook a bunch of people's snow globes.
Yeah, well, guys,
Yeah.
if you want to check out a cool heist movie, Army of Thieves is fantastic. If you haven't seen Army of the Dead yet, man, go watch it because they're both good. And
By the way, what is her name? That Khaleesi's right hand woman, the actress. What's her actual name?
I'll tell you right here.
Because she should not be doing the Alicia Keys haircut. She should be letting her hair get all crazy. Game of Thrones.
Like that.
Yeah, dude. That's
She does that halfway. Like,
that's the coolest hair in Hollywood. Period.
she does that during half of the movie.
I know half the movie.
She's constantly changing her haircut.
Yeah.
She's incognito because she's a criminal.
She could just be Nito.
Natalie
She could
Emanuel.
just be Nito and not incognito. You're Nito
The whole
as
cat.
it is.
I liked the driver. He was everybody in this movie was really good.
Well cast.
Yeah, well done.
And all the characters
Except
are
I-
well rounded.
except for who, Curtis?
I couldn't stop thinking that was Hugh Jackman. Like, I just couldn't get I couldn't get over it. Like, he did very well. The guy Brad Cage or whatever did very well. But yeah, the whole time I'm just like, is that fucking Hugh? It's not Hugh Jackman. It's not Hugh Jackman.
It's Hugh Jackman. He's like 15 years younger than Hugh Jackman. It's his little brother.
Yeah, that's Timmy Jackman.
I like how you have a really attractive person and you have such good writing that you really just don't like the guy. And he's kind of a bro and he thinks that's his girlfriend, sort of.
Yeah.
Mhm. And his
Yeah,
real
he-
name's Alexis.
It's like somebody that wrote this was like, you know, not cool and went and hung out at the smoking tree.
And I'm gonna have him go bust in and be like a dude bro and go
Yeah.
shoot all the people in the bank and all that.
Yeah. Be like captain of the football team over here.
Yeah.
Give the nerd the girl.
You guys excited about? You guys want to talk about some other stuff, or you want to keep talking about this stuff?
I could talk about this all night, man, but let's see where it all goes.
Yeah, I think.
Get wild. Let's freestyle, Clint.
Yeah.
Now that
mean-
Curtis just blew up this whole franchise.
Yeah, Curtis just ruined it. We're like, thanks, Curtis.
Well, with all this time loop stuff, it could easily be fit. Like,
That-
maybe he did it on purpose. So,
Yeah. Well, it was a fun movie. It was a good cast. There was a bunch of cool saves. Those saves were based off an interesting plot. Like it was. This was not like a lazy writing. This was like smart writing and really interesting.
I love a movie inside a movie.
Yeah, it was super cool. I dug it, and hopefully people will go back and look up all those music dramas and
Really-
maybe learn some stuff. And
Really good epic writers do that. Like
Mhm.
in Lord of the Rings, there's all these little sub stories and mythology that the stuff comes from. And I don't know, you guys probably aren't into Harry Potter, but because I have kids, I'm
I am.
extremely
I love
versed in
Harry
it.
Potter.
Well, you know how like the Deathly Hallows are all the things. It's like the Elder Wand, the invisibility cloak. I forgot what the third one is. I forgot what the third one is. That's part of the Deathly Hallows. But the guy with the invisibility cloak cheats death. It's like that's a theme like throughout Harry Potter, that this mythology of the three things, the Deathly Hallows, and the people that seek the power of the wand or whatever. The guy that ends up getting off kind of scot free is the dude that the invisibility cloak guy.
What's your Patronus, Dustin?
My Patronus would be like some kind of German thing, because whatever you love is like,
Like a German Shepherd?
nah, I'd probably be like I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, she had a couple German Shepherds, Sue. Your Patronus is whatever you like really love. That's why Snape's, sorry, Curtis, I'm about to bore you to tears. You'd be like, Dustin, I take back every good thing I ever said about you. But that's why Snape's Patronus is the doe, Lily Potter's.
Yeah.
And what's his name turns to him. What's the main wizard? Dumbledore turns to him and goes, after all this time?
It was a doe.
It was the same Patronus from Lily Potter.
Basically, he's saying after all this time, like you still hold that
Yeah.
deer. Yeah.
And basically, what you don't know, and what I'm like hammering into my son's head is Snape. It's the same thing with Darth Vader. Snape is the coolest character in all of Harry
For
Potter.
sure.
Because he only wanted the girl, and if like this guy James Potter hadn't come on the scene, Harry Potter's dad, who basically was like captain of the football team and like clowned him all the time, and he's like a mudblood and stuff like that, and there's all kinds of like stuff in there. The Snape's the one that got Lily kind of into Hogwarts anyway, and she basically could have gone either way, but ends up with James Potter. But he always pines after her. It's kind of like Darth Vader after Padme, and you have this super powerful wizard like in Voldemort and Tom Riddle that knows everything, but Snape is the only guy that is good enough at occlumency, this magic thing, to keep that guy out of his head. And everybody thinks Snape is a fucking bad guy and shits on Snape.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He's like the guy that knows he's going to die in war and goes anyway. And like, you know what I mean? He's just like, holds everybody in contempt. He's like, you're all weak. I can't believe I'm here. I'm just waiting for the end to where I can like, and and Harry Potter like basically thinks he's the bad guy the whole time, but the whole time he's like saving Harry Potter's ass, and he's just there to get revenge on this guy that killed the woman that he's always loved.
They do a good job of making him look like a bad guy the whole time, and then he's really not.
And what's badass is he just doesn't give two shits at all if nobody likes him. You know what I mean? He's just like holds everybody in contempt, like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you are weak. You know what I mean? Like it's like this, like.
Well,
And he's a dynamic character too. It's like pretty awesome.
Why
Sorry, I
doesn't-
got off on that jag. He's
Why
the
doesn't,
Darth Vader though if there's a parallel.
Why doesn't Harry Potter get STDs?
I don't know, Curtis. Why?
Because he always uses a wandom.
Oh,
nice. Nice.
Boom.
Where's your oh.
Hey, how did Harry Potter get down the hill
I don't know.
running? J.K. Rowling.
Snap.
All right. Speaking of Darth Vader and Star Wars, did you see the trailer for Book of Boba Fett?
Looks good.
Yes. Looks
I
awesome.
did.
Well, why but it's solo me? Where's the gang? There you are. Boom. What did you guys? What did you guys think about it?
I like that they're completely doing their own thing. It's not like just another part of Mandalorian. It's a completely different jag that they're kind of going off on, which I think is the correct direction to tell the story of Boba Fett. And it's probably the story that maybe they might have had from the beginning, but you and I have had this conversation where I think Favreau and Filoni were like, let's not take this character and do it wrong out of the gate. Let's build this adjacent character and make it really badass and get everybody super excited again about Mandalorians. And if you were into Rebels, you liked Mandalorians anyway, but maybe not everybody knows about it. So it was a perfect thing to build Book of Boba Fett on. And I like that they're doing the whole dark. It's like the underbelly,
The
what I mean?
underworld. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Lucas was trying to do that. They have test footage out.
I've seen that.
It was a Star Wars Underworlds.
Yep.
It was test footage of a show that they wanted to do, and they wanted to show the underworld side, the dark side, the black market and the mob and all of that. Which you get a little taste of in Jabba's palace in Star Wars. They wanted to do this, and it just didn't ever work out. I like that Filoni and Favreau and all those guys that they're using Boba Fett, going back into that underworld, and now they're making a show that's going to show all of that. And you've got Boba Fett on Jabba's throne, and he's he got rid of was it Bib Fortuna?
Bib Fortuna.
He knocked him off the throne, and now he's sitting there and he's in charge, and it's cool that you got him and Fennec Shand in meetings with all these mobsters in there, and he's like, I want to rule with respect, not fear, like Jabba, and to me it kind of cracked me up. I was like, guys, I want you to all say at the same time, say it with me, synergy.
Yeah,
You see how that's louder? See, if we all work together instead of against each other, they will hear us around the galaxy, guys. Let's work together and synergy. Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Might be cool, like Sopranos in space.
And
hey, we got to sit down for a meet with the Hammerhead people.
I thought it was cool too. He's like, I want to incorporate. Like, dude, yeah, like this is gonna be like the mob. But like, this is going to be cool, and we all work together. We all get rich by incorporating. I thought that was super cool.
And is he going to end up having to cross Khaleesi? Because she's now from canon, she is now the leader of Crimson Dawn.
Yeah.
With Darth Maul not around, killed by Kenobi.
And Darth Maul, I think's been dead for like 6 or 8 years.
Yeah, before New Hope.
Up to this point.
He dies right before New Hope, I think.
Yeah.
Well, how do y'all think they're going to explain how he survived?
Who?
Darth Maul?
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. He made it with his armor.
I think the Sand People dug him out. He's been living with the Tusken Raiders.
But when do they show that?
In The Mandalorian, but you have to watch the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to watch the show, Curtis. To come on, man. We've been telling you, watch that show.
Dude, I didn't do it forever, Curtis. And Clint was like, just
fucking
check this
amateurs.
out. He set me down on the couch and had me watch the first 2 episodes. I was fucking hooked. It's so good, dude. And you liking Westerns, too? The whole thing is like a really badass Western.
Dude, it's awesome.
It's like everything you like about Star Wars, but without any of the wizard. You know what I mean? He even kind of makes fun of the Force. He's like, the person that's the head of his sect of Mandalorians he's like, you want me to return the child to a race of old space wizards?
Dude, you can even erase the prequels and the sequel trilogy out of your mind and just pretend there's only the original first 3 that we love.
And it works.
And then go into the Mandalorian, and that's like the caliber of stuff you're getting. Like, it's good, and it's based off of that, and there's no weird hokey crap. It's great. You trust me, man. You're gonna really enjoy it.
And what's the actor's name that's Gus from Breaking Bad? That's Giancarlo.
Esposito.
Yeah, he's such a good bad guy.
Oh, he's
Curtis.
fantastic.
Like he's like, in the absence of Darth Vader, he's like the next best thing for sure. He's like really cool, and his delivery of all the lines, his his subtext on his face and everything, and all the little side characters are great too.
Yeah.
Like Amy Sedakis, is that her name? She plays the spaceport.
Are you talking about that soccer movie, soccer TV show where the football coach goes to London, goes to England?
You remember that show, Strangers with Candy?
Sedakis?
Sedaris. Amy Sedaris. Sorry. Thanks, Curtis. Amy Sedaris is in it, and she plays like a real quirky spaceport like mechanic. She runs a spaceport.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
And she's like real sneaky and kind of like shisty, but cool also. Like there's all these great actors. Nick Nolte is like those things in Empire Strikes Back that are in the Cloud City that work on all the droids. They look like kind of pig. They look like kind of almost like pigmen. He plays one of those, and he's like, "I have spoken."
Yeah, I have spoken. Yeah. He's great.
They're talking, and how he ends every conversation is, "I have spoken," but it's Nick Nolte, so it's like, Nick Nolte, you're badass.
Well, the first thing I noticed on that Boba Fett Book of Boba Fett trailer was the spiders. Do you see those spiders?
Yeah, the monk.
Those are the Bomar monks.
didn't.
And if you remember at the very beginning part where like when the two droids are going into Jabba's palace and the doors start closing behind them, that you see one of those spider things running by, and that's the only time I've ever noticed one of those things. But those are monks that remove their brains from their body and put them in this solution, and then they have and it's to achieve ultimate enlightenment by being autonomous from your body. Like you're gonna be completely enlightened, and then they have droid spiders that carry them around. So it's just basically a jar with a brain in it, which is crazy. It has nutrients in it, which is crazy.
What I didn't know is Jabba's palace was their monastery.
Yep.
And Jabba was basically like, "Cool, nerds, you don't have a body? Like, go sit in the corner. I'm taking over your monastery. This is now my castle."
So they've been like out in the outskirts, like away. But now that you got Boba Fett has taken over and he's ruling by respect, not fear. I guess they thought it was okay to come back, or this one was just happened to be scurrying by. But I was like, "What the hell is that spider thing?" And
I think they always just scurry around, and Jabba just like thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
Like it's like walking in and taking over somebody's clubhouse. You know what I mean? Like, "Cool, nerds, you're in my seat."
There's also rumors that Din Djarin is going to be make an appearance, and there's some people that are like, "Is that him speaking at the end of the trailer?" I don't think it was his voice. I think that was Boba Fett. I think that's just what you're supposed to sound like in this universe with a helmet on, and that was the same effect they probably used, and so it made it sound like he was him, but it wasn't him. Like it didn't have his accent. It was the same pitch. It just didn't have his accent. I don't think it was him.
And what I like about these series is they take all the basically everybody that was in A New Hope, that was in the Mos Eisley Cantina, all the races of aliens, and they do cool little side stories with all of them. That's like my favorite thing. You know what I mean? The walrus guy, like one of these mob guys is a walrus guy.
Yeah, the hammerhead.
The hammerhead dude.
And
I like how they have the translator on him when he's speaking.
And all those mobsters that were around the table that are were I don't even know how to say it. Trandoshan. That's the same. Like they have a rogue pilot who's one of those guys. But
the alligator looking guy.
Yeah, but Sid, who was in a Bad Batch, was the same race, and she's a kind of a messes around in the underworld, and I'm wondering if they're going to tie in some of this stuff from Bad Batch into this show, where they're just dealing and it all glues together from animated to not animated, which brings me to another thing. We just put not Fennec Shan, but Cad Bane in this show?
Oh, yeah.
I want to see fucking Cad Bane. I want him to be the surprise guy, because he already had a showdown with Fennec Shand in Bad Batch.
That's right.
But he is like a badass cowboy kind of a dude, and
Who
He-
does his voice on Bad Batch?
I don't know. I've looked it up before.
Right.
He's a guy who does a lot of animated stuff, voiceover work. But to me, he sounds like Jeremy Irons with like cotton balls in his mouth, doing a
Southern accent?
Western accent. Yeah, like some blah, blah. Every time I hear him, it sounds like I'm like, is that Pope Borgia? It sounds just like him. Like, yeah. So I'm excited about this show. I can't wait to see. And please bring me Cad Bane. I want to see Cad Bane in live action. If we don't see him in this, let's get him in. Also, let's pull Omega into this. Omega. Yeah, and that would be super badass. I'd like to get live action versions of the Bad Batch and some of the other stuff.
And where the hell is Captain Rex?
Because we're starting, and I want to see Rex too. We're starting to see this stuff with these other characters. We got Bo-Katan in Mandalorian, and like, come on, Cad Bane, bring him to me. I want some Cad Bane action. Sorry.
Would be pretty badass.
Yeah, and Sid, let's see Sid. And also, I thought it was funny when Fennec Shand is like, "How dare you? If you spoke to Jabba with this same insolence, he would feed you to his,
menagerie."
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, and I was thinking, I'm like doing Mystery Science Theater in my head, because I'm like, guys, I want you to say this word with me, synergy, and I'm like doing that, and then I'm also like, ooh, the Rancor, all we need is a bone and a rock. That's what Skywalker did, because it's like, it's pretty funny the way he beat that thing. He just jams a bone in his mouth and then throws rocks at it. It wasn't very Jedi.
No, that wasn't too cool.
I mean, it worked, but like I was like, seeing that as a kid, I was like, whoa, super suspenseful. But seeing that scene as an adult, it's kind of funny. But anywho, let's see if we got more people in the chat.
Curtis, did you have any thoughts on that trailer? Like, did it scratch an itch for you? I'm sure Boba Fett was like a character that, as a kid, there's less Boba Fett in the movies than there was Zendaya in Dune. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So it's like,
I'm gonna step out for 1 second, and y'all discuss that.
Yeah, it definitely looks good. I'm gonna catch up on the Mandalorian.
You're gonna dig it, man. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the first few, and I did dig it. But just, getting around to it, I hadn't caught up yet.
The whole idea of this is the way, like, this is the way. Like, I love that shit. I don't know why, but like, I say that all the time. It's funny. It's kind of a thing that's caught on in the firearms community too, obviously, because like, all the little catchphrases like weapons are part of my religion and like, this is the way. I love too, like, the armorer, the voiceover work that actress does, and she plays the armor also, but I like how matter of fact, like the delivery of like all her like lines are and everything. It's like, it would be really easy to be an actor and you don't see your face to like try to be animated, you know what I mean? With your voice or something to stick out, and like the part is played so well.
So just what I was wondering from the little bit of that trailer that I saw was, so if the Mandalorians, they don't take their mask off because of their religion, like Boba Fett's basically walking around with it off the whole time. Do they cover it?
It's kind of like in some of the religions that, like Catholicism and I was going to try to tread on some, like draw some parallels from Mideast religions, but let's stick to the white boy religions so people can freely make fun of them or whatever. But the whole like Catholicism and Protestant thing, I think that there's once you see Bo-Katan, you'll understand. She actually even says in The Mandalorian, like, this is a way, not this is the way. In other words, she's like, the Death Watch is the sect, I believe, that rescued Din Djarin, the Mandalorian or whatever, and they do the thing where they don't take off their mask. But just like Protestant and Catholicism, how there's some different things, like in in Protestantism or whatever, however you say that, like, the priest can marry and all that stuff, and so there's definitely there's different levels and sects to this, to the whole
Okay,
Mandalorian thing.
that makes
And
sense.
if you go back and watch the cartoons, like on Mandalore, there's warring factions. Like there's the Death Watch, there's the, I forget what the other one is, but um the yeah, so there's different sects. Some
Mhm.
of them are more like, I guess, strict than others,
Okay,
as
yeah, like
as an easy analogy, I would say the difference between Catholicism and Protestant.
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because yeah, I was thinking that, and then I was thinking back too. Whenever I remember, whenever I was watching The Mandalorian, I was like, yeah, Jango Fett was walking around with his mask up all the time.
Yeah.
But
They
that
try
makes
to
sense.
say that there was old canon, like, so Jango Fett uh in canon, I believe, was always a Mandalorian, but before that was sort of set in stone, there was always the question of, was Boba Fett and Jango Fett even Mandalorians, or were they just like really good bounty hunters that got the armor, or are they, you know what I mean, like, kind of thing.
Hmm.
But I don't know if it's a retcon, or I don't know if it was just something canonized that I wasn't aware of. But Jango Fett does have the Mandalorian lineage, and Boba obviously being sort of like surrogate son clone of, which the
Hmm.
other man you'll see later in the Mandalorian, the other Mandalorians have contempt for Boba Fett because he's a clone.
Hmm.
They think he's basically like equivalent to somebody saying like, you're just white trash. You know what I mean? And Boba Fett takes issue with that.
I would, yeah, I
But
would
he
think so.
like does this on his armor, and he like hits this
Mhm.
thing and it pops up, and you can see like the armors, basically all the armor has like its history of its lineage, whatever armor you
Mhm.
have, Mandalorian armor, and it traces all the way up. Like you see where Jango Fett was and all that stuff. So it's kind of cool. That's what's cool about the Mandalorian, is like it has an opportunity to do this parallel or adjacent like storylines to a very familiar legend and lore that you're acquainted with, but it expands on it. It's like a companion or compodium or whatever you call that to the source material. It's really interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it. I just gotta pick back. I probably need to rewatch the episodes actually that I've
Do you
already
see?
watched.
Have you seen the ones where he has to fight the Jawas, and he's like swinging around
It,
like Indiana Jones was swinging around on the tank, but he's swinging around on the little Jawa tank?
I think so. It was probably just like the first 3 episodes or so. So I think so. I do remember he had to go mess with the Jawas, and so I got to where basically where I ended it was where Baby Yoda uses his first, very or uses powers for the first time.
On
And he's
the
fighting.
like rhino looking thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
yeah.
That becomes his signet. Like
Oh, the Rhino thing.
Yeah, like Boba Fett's
Yeah,
signet is that weird mastodon looking thing.
yeah.
Pretty
Okay.
cool, man. Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Very interesting.
Pretty badass show. Um what else are you excited about, Curtis? Like we
Um,
all got crunk on that to see that finally that the I can't believe how fast it snuck up. Like, I mean, it's only a month away pretty much.
what?
The Book of Boba Fett.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a yeah.
Seemed like when they were first talking about it, I'm like, oh god, it's gonna take forever.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, same thing too. It seems like they hadn't been uh pushing it as much, but I mean, obviously now they are. You know, they
Yeah.
start hitting it again. But yeah, I'm excited to see that. Even though there's a lot of negative reviews, honestly maybe because of the negative reviews, I'm a little bit more excited to see Eternals.
Yeah,
See what
I
people.
was joking with Clint. We're from everybody that's watching at home, we're all on a text thread together, and I was like joking with Clint because Curtis and Clint have a Shang-Chi rivalry. And I was like, wanted to, I I haven't gotten my hands dirty yet, so I was like, well, let me see if I can stir this pot with the Eternals. Of course, Clint took the bait, as he does. But yeah, I don't know, man. What do you think? Do you think they got enough gas in the tank to knock another one out of the park?
I mean,
We're talking about the Eternals now, Clint. You're just in
sweet.
time. I asked Curtis if he's excited about anything else. I was like, Book of Boba Fett snuck up on me when they first talked about it. I was like, oh God, it's gonna take forever.
I had a phone call that I had that was important. I had to
That's all right, man.
sneak out of here. Sorry, guys. Hell yeah, I'm excited about the Eternals. The worst rated Marvel movie in history. That's what they're saying. I like how it's not even out yet, and people are talking shit.
I told them that we're all on a text thread together, and since you and Curtis have a Shang-Chi rivalry, I'm like, all right, this is my chance. This is my chance to get my hands dirty.
Yes.
Just trying to stir the pot, but yeah, I think that's uncool to like try to review. That's one thing that could have never happened when I was in my 20s, back in the day, back in the Disney.
Yeah.
You can't just nobody would come out and review a movie before it ever came out.
Yeah.
That is like weak sauce.
Yeah, I don't
PS.
understand all these like reviews. Are they
Are they reviewing the trailer?
I don't understand. Or are they supposed to be critics that or like press that got in early that are reviewing it?
Don't you think they would say something about it?
I mean, I don't know. I don't understand. Also, one thing I've heard is that this movie doesn't look like a Marvel movie. It looks like a Chloe Zhao movie, you know, and so it's her own thing. And I kind of feel like because she has a best director, she was the biggest director right now. I've kind of like feel like maybe Feige. I don't want to use the word intimidated, but like maybe it was like she's just best director. We're lucky to have her. We're just going to let her do her thing because she's the reigning best director in the world right now, according to the Academy Awards. So I'm going to let her do her thing because she knows how to make pictures, and maybe he's also like a fanboy of her picture, like seen her work and is just like really, really respects her work and isn't going and smearing that Marvel glue all over, that Feige glue all over this movie. Like he's got his hands in all of those movies, and regardless of who he has direct. But I'm wondering if he said, you know what, I trust you, and you're an amazing director, and I'm going to let you do it your way. And the result is it doesn't have that Marvel flavor. It's still a good movie, but people go in there with a disposed like opinion of or idea of what this movie is going to be, and it's not what that is. And so instead it ends up looking more like Dune, or looking like it's like beautifully shot, like, but that's not a Marvel movie. What you look like you're chomping on the bit to say something, Curtis.
Well, no, but that's how Marvel was in the beginning. Like they let their directors do, you know, what they wanted to do stylistically, of course, you know, with the story and stuff. That's a little bit different.
In the beginning, what are you talking about in the beginning? Are you talking about Iron Man?
Like all of it, like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, like pre-Avengers and stuff, like whenever it was just Marvel before it was Disney,
right?
There wasn't necessarily there wasn't a Marvel movie feel yet.
There kind of was, and they kind of figured out how to do it by Jon Favreau, the way they put that together. They were writing scripts on the set as it went. They ad-libbed a whole bunch of it, and they kind of figured out the formula and just redid that formula a lot. And like they get different people in, but and then because they figured out, holy crap, we can have these things. They didn't really know at the beginning that they were going to have all the movies tied together, and then they just for shits and giggles threw in the after credit or mid credit scenes. After credit scene with Sam Jackson just for fun, and people went apeshit, and they were like, you know what, we could tie all these together. And so once they slowly started figuring that out, they made sure everything worked together. Everything, they used the same formula. They did it like formula on all of it, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know what I mean? It sounds like it's a different song, but it sounds like the same fucking song every time.
Californication.
Yeah. Californication.
Pre-Avengers, they were much more individualistic movies, and
like
they
the
had
Incredible
much
Hulk
more of
movies, the different Hulk movies. Curtis, is that sort of what you're?
No, I'm saying, well, yeah, the Hulk one as well. But like Iron Man 1 to Captain America to the first Thor to Iron Man 2, and I think that was it for pre-Avengers. Uh, like they're much different stylistically. Like, they're way different. You got what's his name, Richard Branagh or whatever, for the first Thor and
Right.
stuff like that. They gave those directors more leeway to kind of, the story was there. They couldn't like change these characters drastically, but stylistically they did a lot of different things. They even changed that, to make it fit a more Marvel formula after at post Avengers, which kind of makes sense. You bring all these individual characters together, and then flow from the Avengers, because that's was the biggest movie in the history of the world. But that might be why it's not doing so well. It might be because I don't know, but I think that they're going to change the Eternals a lot, so a lot of fanboys are mad about that. There's the whole diversity thing that I know some people are pissed off about. I don't understand, but like, I'm not saying it's going to be good. I mean, I might be walking out bitching more than most people, but like, as a fan, like, I know, like, they have to change things to make it work in a movie. So, like, as long as they do it right, I'll be fine with it. But
I have a theory.
It's like, I think maybe it's like it's like having somebody. We're gonna let you make this Star Wars thing look however you want, and then it looks like Star Trek, and people are like, "That's
Yeah.
I'm mad,"
Well, but think about, so like kind of down that, because Eternals aren't a big property. You guys, they're kind of a deep dive. I'm sure they're pushing them in the comic books now and stuff like that. But so think about it like that. Think about like an Old Republic book that you had read. They were like, "Oh, that's so fucking awesome!" Like, nobody else had read it. Nobody else knows it. So then they make a book of that, and then the people who don't know it are like, I mean, I guess it's okay. And then the people who do know it are like, well, they changed so much of it, it's not that. So then
Right.
nobody ends up happy,
I have a theory on it. I think that the people that make shitloads of money and are responsible for steering the ship, like the Kevin Feige's and stuff like that, they're like, we can't keep doing the same we can't keep remaking Black Panther.
Yeah.
And Endgame and huge movies. We've got to change. Let's take this director that can make huge, big, awesome, beautiful movies. And I think this movie, and I don't like space comics, and I don't know a whole hell of a lot about the Eternals because I never cared, but it is cool. It is a cool property. Like, the powers are all cool. The idea is cool. There's a cohesive storyline. So if you take that storyline, you get some really awesome production team and director, you could have like this could be like the piece of ginger in the sushi
Yeah,
to
for sure.
completely clear the palette for the next thing that's going to come along. It's like a reset. You know what I mean? We had the Avengers. Everybody knows that storyline. We've got all the way down. We've whittled all the way down to the character nobody cares about, Hawkeye, and we're going to end that one out. Yeah. And then X-Men could look like this.
From what I've heard,
They could make beautiful, big, huge X-Men.
what I've heard, that the scope of this movie is like so big that it makes like what all these people are doing, like all the Avengers and everything, it makes them look like street level characters, because this is like huge, super like big, and so it makes the Avengers look the way that Thor makes Daredevil look. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's not even a good analogy, but you know what I'm saying?
It makes it look like Daredevil. It makes it look like Daredevil and Jessica Jones.
Yeah, they're dealing with these guys over here while we're dealing with the freaking universe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
we're a space comic.
Yeah, which they've kind of dipped into with Ego and other things, you know what I mean? But still, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
But no, well, that was kind of the issue with the Eternals. Like, that's I mean, they weren't. This was Jack Kirby's baby, and it was a whole, like, almost an independent story, and they had to force him to cross over with Marvel stuff, regular Marvel Universe stuff, and like that's kind of the thing. It wasn't. He didn't want it to fit. It wasn't written to fit because I mean, into the regular old Marvel universe. So now that they're trying to put it in here, you know, I don't, and that's the thing too. I'm not even sure why they're doing it unless it is specifically to introduce mutants.
Yeah, could
Like
be.
that's why I think that they're doing it.
It's like the ginger in the sushi. That's what I think. I honestly think
But
it's like,
ginger is gross though. But ginger's gross.
yeah, but it takes the taste away from your California rolls so you can taste the
Well, yeah, I could also I could eat a turd too, and it would take the taste
Sure,
away.
if that's what you're into. Yeah,
Ugh, gross.
take this space comic, wipe my ass with it, and I'm ready for the next thing.
Oh, you hate
Yeah,
space
I
comics.
mean, I don't. Yeah, kind of. But you do need them because at some point it's kind of like the eventuality of like super powerful characters. That's what makes
No, but
that's Marvel has the answer to why Superman is boring. You've got Galactus.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Superman. Throw you into another fucking galaxy. You know?
well, and that's the thing. That's why they didn't really fit too, because it's basically like you've got the Avengers, the Earth's mightiest heroes,
Right.
and then it's like all of a sudden these Eternals are there, and it's like, well, it's like 100 of them, and they're all like Superman, like
Yeah.
or they've all got they're these badass powers, and I don't know. Like, I mean, the comic's very good, but again, he didn't. It was supposed to be separate. Jack wanted it to
Yeah.
be separate, and like when they're putting it in here, shoehorning it into the MCU. I mean, I don't know.
They might tickle the balls of the multiverse. You know what I mean? Be like, only the
Well, sure,
Eternals
yeah.
can. Only the Eternal. They even made a joke like, "What are you like, Doctor Strange or something?"
and like I do agree with you, Dustin. I think they're trying
Mhm.
to do different things, which is smart. I think that's why Marvel's been able to have as long a run as it has because they
Yeah.
do different things. But in that the reason Guardians worked because Guardians was that wasn't a hot property. That wasn't
Mhm.
anybody big, and it wasn't even the Guardians from the comics. Really, most of
Right.
them.
It was a
Uh,
microcosm.
yeah,
There's like
it was
so
Star
many
Lord.
different
Like,
Guardians of the Galaxy. It's ridiculous. It's almost like you can't even like. It's almost like a revolving door. The
yeah, it
Guardians
really
of the
was.
Galaxy is a fucking revolving door of like different characters.
And when they did it, I didn't think it was going to work at all. Before I saw the movie, of course, but I was like, this is just a bad idea. But the way it was done, it was so fun. They introduced these characters.
Yeah.
It was just done really well. But to come out all these new characters in this grandiose manner, like it's like in wrestling. I don't know if y'all are wrestling fans, but when they push
Preach.
the new guy,
Mhm.
they're pushing the new guy so hard, and it's like, fuck this guy. I mean, I kind of
Yeah.
want to like him, but they're pushing him so hard, and it's like he goes out there and beats the Undertaker or something, and it's like, what the fuck? Who is this guy? Like,
Yeah.
they're just pushing the new guy so hard, like it doesn't work. So it might be a case of that too. Like,
You know what I
for
never understood, Curtis? I'm going to pull us off the topic. Why don't they push the new guy really hard, like he's the fucking hero, like he's the
Mhm.
baby face, only to
Mhm.
actually make him the heel that everybody becomes to hate quickly because he beats the
'Cause it would
Undertaker.
w-
And then you
Yeah.
fucking flip it and be like, I knew it. Fuck all of you. Ha ha. You're all redneck,
That would-
stupid asses. Then you bring up the baby face that beats that guy. And that's how you introduce new baby faces.
that
You
would
bring
work
in the
perfectly.
heel and push him super fucking hard and everybody hates him. Then you bring in the fucking hero that beats that guy.
But you know
Fuck you,
what?
Vincent McMahon. I'm taking your
You know what?
jab.
That's kind of what they did with The Rock. When
That
The
is
Rock came in, he
exactly
was
what they did with The Rock.
like that,
I don't
yeah.
think that shit happened on purpose. I think everybody loved The
No,
Rock
I think
so
that
much.
was accident. Yeah, it was. He was Rocky Maivia, this baby face, and then they
What you got over there,
put him in the
man?
Nation Domination. It was like, anyway, that's a whole nother podcast.
Peachy mangoes. These.
Yeah, man.
You ever think that dry mangoes are just like the beef jerky for vegans?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Yep.
Vegan beef jerky. Well, I don't care what anybody says. I'm excited to see Eternals. Everybody can suck it.
Me too.
I'm,
Me too.
I think it's going to be awesome. And I think it'll be better than most other movies.
I like-
so it could
Yeah.
be a lame, crappy Marvel movies are better than most movies. You know what I mean? Like they're fun. They're tied into the other stories that I love, and even if it's just a little nugget that's going to tie into this, or there's a post-credit scene, it's more input. I need more. You know.
I like how they finally figured out a way to bring in Baseball Light Man.
Say what?
You know the character with all the red lights or whatever? Looks like baseball lights. You know, his face are just
He's talking about the celestial, the celestial guy.
Yeah, I just want somebody like fucking on Earth, like some badass, like super strong character to hit a baseball and it just flies up and smashes out his fucking lights like the Natural. That would be somebody needs to fucking do that in a comic. He's like looking down. I'm a fucking celestial from Space Comics.
Yeah, that guy, he creates universes and stuff.
Yeah, man. It's pretty cool. It's a cool, powerful character.
Let's see if anybody says anything in the chat. No, we're good.
That's cool. You made some Daredevil. That's cool. I made a character that creates universes.
Well, cool, man. What else we got? Are you guys at all excited about? Oh yeah, it's down there. Wheel of Time.
I was just telling you about that I'm kind of excited about it.
I think it looks like it's going to be really cool.
It does look awesome. I love that actress that plays like kind of the main like sorceress chick or whatever. She's awesome. I think it has the potential to be awesome, but I'm worried that it's going to be like Jupiter's
legacy
to superhero movies, that this might be to like the Game of Thrones type genre. Like maybe it's going to try too hard. It's going to rely on tropes. I mean, even though this is already a story that's a cool bunch of novels, but so is Jupiter's Legacy a good comic.
Rosamund Pike.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, it's a cool. I mean, I was gonna say it's a cool cast. I don't know any of these other people.
Do you know the synopsis of it or anything like that for people out there?
Yeah, I sure do.
I think too that's the problem. They haven't really been trying to like leak that story, so it's just like some cool visual shit, and you're like, cool. This is kind of
Let's see here. I got you. Set in a high fantasy world where magic exists, but only some can access it, a woman named Moraine crosses paths with 5 young men and women. This sparks a dangerous, world-spanning journey based on the book series by Robert Jordan. That doesn't say much, but
yeah. I mean, they did a okay job in the trailer of like showing the characters and stuff like that. I know this is a beloved series, so I've got hope for it,
yeah,
I love that fucking high fantasy sword and sorcerer shit. I love that.
Wheel of Time is a series of high fantasy novels by American author Robert Jordan, with Brandon Sanderson as a co-author for the final 3 novels. Originally planned as a 6-book series, The Wheel of Time spanned 14 volumes in addition to a prequel novel and 2 companion books. So anytime you got that many damn books,
pay me.
Yeah, there's a lot of it's a vast universe. So what were you gonna say, Curtis?
No, I was going to say I'm not aware of this series. Actually, I'm aware of it, but I have not read it. But one series that I always thought that would make a great movie is The Dying Earth. I don't know if y'all have read that, but
school me on that.
I'd read it, and then it's a fantasy series, and it's a kind of a Dying Earth story. But and it's been years, but the reason it's dying is because of the main character, and that's the main thing that's so great about it. The main character is the biggest asshole in the history of the world. He is such a piece of crap, and you don't want to root for him, but he's the main character so the story doesn't continue on unless he succeeds.
That's
and
great.
You just want bad things to happen through him and it's like 3 or 4 books, and like it's just such a great
Does he ever
series.
redeem himself? Like,
No,
does it
he's
ever?
just a piece of shit.
It's great to have a character that you think is such a turd, and then you eventually start to root for them. That's the best writing.
Yeah,
Is that a Stephen King book?
no, it's
No.
Do I need to
don't
send
know
out a
who-
link for Stephen King books?
She didn't say anything. Scarlett, you gonna jump on?
Scar, man, don't be
Um,
shy. Happy birthday.
I'm reading
yeah, happy birthday, sister.
Cosmovorus, R.C.
Mhm.
Housen's book. Have you guys read that yet?
Started it.
I got through the first chapter, and that's as far as I've gotten. I need to keep going.
I like the premise. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'll be into it.
Yeah,
I'm into
you
him.
need to get into that.
I'm
Yeah,
into
everything
him.
I read so far is good stuff.
I'm gonna be doing I'm gonna be emceeing a book signing, Kick Butt
that's awesome.
Coffee on the 12th for Housen's book. So, just wanted to mention
Hell
that. Is Scar gonna jump on? Is she even listening?
I don't know.
We only have 3 viewers right now.
Scarlet's dish on some Stephen King.
That means we'll have 4 total with Chris Klink listening tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I texted her earlier, and she was, I don't know.
I don't know.
She can be
Well,
shy.
Is she like this?
She can be shy, or
She's like, nobody's home.
Well, happy birthday, Scar. She can pop on if she doesn't pop on tonight. She can always jump on later.
Mhm.
I'm sure once we get through talking to Chris Housen at some point,
that'd be a good episode.
she could jump in and we could all get into a Stephen King conversation.
For sure. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out, after reading Cosmovorus, The Dying Earth,
Cool, man.
saga, I read it, and then Natchet was my roommate, so he read it afterwards, and we were both just like, like, oh, he's such
this
a
guy
piece of
sucks.
shit. Like,
I love those characters, man. I mean, maybe I'm like,
but he's the no, me too. That's what makes it work.
Yeah.
He's the main character, and you want him to fail and die and
Like,
all, but he's the main character. So
my
the story
favorite
doesn't continue.
wrestler of all time is Chris Jericho. Because you just like, God, just like want him to get smashed. But he's just like there, you know what I mean? Just like,
Even CJ on Dawn of the Dead, by the end of the
Yeah.
movie, you're rooting for him. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
in the beginning,
totally.
you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this guy sucks.
Yeah. CJ's redemption was great.
Yeah.
yep.
But yeah, that's just great. And I just thought of it now because we were talking about that. But I think the main character's name is Cudgel. But
Cudgel, that's a funny idea for a name.
Yeah.
That's like something
Yeah.
that's like beat you over the head with. It's
Yeah.
basically like a stick with a nail in it. It's a cudgel.
Yeah, and it basically, if I remember correctly, it basically starts out with he screws over this wizard, and it pisses the wizard off, and so the wizard starts screwing everything up, and then sends him off to somewhere or something, and he's got to complete this quest, and he's just a jerk.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
That
absolutely check it
reminds
out.
me of Yorick from the Last Man. Are you up on that yet? Are you caught up all the way?
Mhm.
I don't know if I got all the way. The last episode I watched, they ended up raiding some like flea market and and the people started just trashing all the stuff and
Yeah.
and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Stop!"
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, "Hey, we need those supplies." They're like, "We don't care."
I think you're just one behind.
I'll be watching that tonight then.
All
Hell
right, guys,
yeah,
I'm gonna
man.
jump off at about 11.
I was gonna say, that sounds perfect. That's just about the time I was gonna shut her down. So,
All right.
yeah. So yeah, we had an interesting bunch of movies. Good old Zack Snyder providing the entertainment once again. So we got
Indeed.
we got to watch Dawn of the Dead.
I wonder what he'd do with a romantic comedy.
I don't know, but he's gonna have a romantic sci-fi movie coming up.
Hey, is that Zeus? The guy that plays Zeus is a longtime stuntman that he's used in just about all his movies.
Mhm.
Is he the main character? Is he the main character in
what?
In the Rebel Moon?
I don't think they've cast anybody yet. I don't even know if it's.
I think I heard something that he like gave a big
Let's-
role to that guy because he's like basically been Batman's Batfleck stunt double. It's been like he was Zeus.
Let's see. Zack.
in,
We're
Army
going
of
to
the
look
Dead.
this up. Zack Snyder. Long time stunt
You could just IMDb
Man.
Zeus.
role. Or I could just Google this like I'm
Mhm.
doing.
Man, you're good either way, man. I believe in you. You're powerful.
Yeah.
We're running out the clock on Curtis
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
Kneeling with the football, Clint.
Let's see what this guy's up to.
The guy did well with Zeus, I thought.
Oh man, he was awesome.
Whoever he was.
And he's worked with Zack Snyder a shitload.
I do like whenever directors carry their people around. Obviously James Gunn has a whole bunch of people that he brings with him.
Yeah.
So Zack Snyder, you need to bring Sarah Polley back. Put her in Planet of the Dead. Give her some work. She deserves it.
Hail to the yeah. Anything you're excited about coming up, Curtis? TV shows, movies.
Well, besides Eternals and stuff, I was talking to Clint earlier. I'm kind of surprised there's not a big Thanksgiving release this year, or
Oh,
unless
no
I'm
shit.
missing it. Can you think of it? Like, what are they pushing for? The big Thanksgiving. Usually, there's a big kids movie at least, or something.
Like a turkey. Gobble Gobble 2?
There's something.
Gobble Gobble 2.
There's something called A Kid Named Christmas or something like that. That's supposed to be kind of a streaming thing that they're pushing. It's probably going to be some bullshit. Love Actually kind of.
Did you ever see the Kurt Russell Santa Claus movies? Where Kurt Russell is Santa Claus?
Yeah, I've seen one of them. Which
Yeah,
is
the
funny
first
because
one's
I
good.
think one of the first movies he was in was he was a kid in a Santa Claus movie.
Let's see here.
Yeah, the first I've seen the first. Well, my kids have seen both of them, and I'm sure I've seen parts of the second one, but the first one I definitely watched, and it was pretty good.
That's cool. I had read I had listened to an interview with Kurt Russell. He was talking about he became really good friends with Charles Bronson because on Charles Bronson's birthday, he gave him some birthday present, and Charles Bronson got visibly upset, and like Kurt Russell
upset,
and Kurt Russell thought he'd like
why did he
pissed
get
him
upset?
off. He thought he pissed him off, and then Charles Bronson brought him in later. He's like, nobody has ever given me a gift. Not even my own family. And he became super endeared to Kurt Russell. And he actually bought on the show that they're on, he bought skateboards. And him and Kurt Russell would go around skateboarding. And fucking
That's a cool story.
producer was like, kid, you can't fucking skateboard with Charles Bronson. If this guy breaks his arm or something like that, they were like super pissed with him. I think he got him like a remote control airplane or some shit like that. And like Charles Bronson was like he thought he was mad at him. He got visibly upset and was like, told him to go away. And later he brought him back and he was like, no one has ever given me a gift.
Wow.
And they fucking endeared him to him. They were like friends forever until he passed away after that.
Curtis, Ghostbusters Afterlife comes out the week before Thanksgiving.
Boom. There you go.
On the 19th.
Yeah.
And then on the 24th, Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City comes out. Which I
Is
really...
that streaming? Is it coming out on Netflix?
I'm probably pretty sure in the theater.
Oh, in the theaters. Okay.
That looks like it might be pretty good.
I like the actress.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it a computer animated one or a live action?
No, but it's a prequel, and it looks pretty good.
But live action?
Yep, live action.
Is it based on the other ones, or is it based on the game?
Oh yeah, it's a prequel to the. It's like a along the same lines of the video game and movie storyline. It's a prequel to the first Resident Evil.
Movies.
Basically, it's like before everybody zombifies, and
yeah,
it's as the shit's breaking loose.
Yeah, they need to get away from those movies though. The games, the movie. I have a special place in my heart for the movies now. But whenever, I don't get why they went the way they did with the movies when the game storylines are just freaking perfect.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's
Anyway.
like one of those IPs that just like it was making some money, so they're like,
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and Mila Jovovich
Yeah.
is awesome, and they made a bunch of movies with her, and everybody loved it
Yep.
because everybody why multipass. That's why.
I really like the one with I forget. I think it's Resident Evil 3 or something with Mike Epps.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the third one?
I've seen them all in the theater.
Yeah, me
every,
too.
Every
Oh,
one
yeah,
of
I think you and I saw it together.
Mhm.
Actually, that's pretty. But
the last one I saw in at the Metropolitan Theater down south. I left.
Wow, all right.
Yeah, I left Clink's house and went over there and saw it.
Cool, man.
I want it. I almost think maybe COVID had already started.
Mm.
I don't know.
You're
I
the
don't
only
look at
one in
release
there.
date. Yeah, I was. I feel like I was the only one in there. Now it could have been I was the only one in there because that movie was terrible and nobody wanted to watch that. But Clint likes everything. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I'll watch them all,
Mhm.
and then I'd watch Monster Hunter or whatever the fucking movie is that she made after that, and pretend that's a fucking Resident Evil.
It's like going in
There
to
you go.
watch F9.
You know what you're
Are we
getting.
really pretending like this is going to
Yeah.
be a cinematic masterpiece? It's a fucking trash movie, but
Yeah,
it's fun.
You're going to have fun. Yeah, you know what you're getting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same with all the Underworlds. Ooh, you watch those? If they come out with 5 more, I'm going to go see every one of them in the theater.
I like the Chili's molten lava cake. It's trash. It's probably like, whatever, but it's delicious. Fucking heated up brownie with a fucking, ice cream on top. That's what all those movies are.
It's like, look, I could have fresh squeezed orange juice, but sometimes I want a little Sunny D. You know?
Yeah. Or a little
Yeah.
tang. Sometimes I like to pick the orange juice crystals out of my teeth later.
I say that with margaritas. No, I say if you're gonna have a margarita, you want a good tequila, and and a good orange liqueur, and
I've watched you say this actually. That's funny.
and fresh squeezed lime juice. Don't mess around with some bullshit. Use fresh squeezed lime juice. You can throw a little agave nectar. You'll be good. But sometimes I go to the airport and I'm about to go somewhere and I have a garbage margarita that's got mixer that's like corn syrup lime mixer that's in it, or I'm at the bowling alley. Either way, I'm either going to bowl, get drunk and go bowling, or I'm about to fly off to some fun place. And the taste of trash is delicious, and it makes me happy. I'm like, I could have some gourmet margarita, but I would much rather have this corn syrup margarita
We
because
should just quote around that. The taste of trash is delicious and it makes me happy.
it makes me happy because it tastes like I'm on vacation.
We're the
That's-
raccoon humans.
That's it. Yeah. Jose Cuervo, the taste of vacation. You
Yeah.
know? Yes, sir.
The taste of trash is delicious and it makes me happy.
That's why I use the taste of trash is delicious. That's why I use the Manscaper. It sounds like a bad copy for a commercial. What's up, Curtis?
Brought to you by the people who were talking about eating turds earlier.
Yeah.
On that note, we're down to 3 viewers. 2 of them are me. Just kidding. But sort of. But guys, thank you so much for watching, man. You guys. Not Army of the Dead, but Army of Thieves. He's making a YouTube video about safe cracking, and it makes me feel so generic. Saying, "Guys, click that notification bell." I feel like we're gonna like in 20 years, that's gonna be like a meme. You know what I mean?
Like some kind of MySpace shit.
Yeah, exactly.
like- yeah,
It's
totally.
kind of funny, but yeah, I was like listening to that, and I was like, "Wow, that's weird." But whatever. Fuck those guys. We're having a good time here on YouTube, and we appreciate you guys joining us. Those who popped in and those who didn't. join us next week. And Curtis, thanks so much for popping in. Dustin, thanks for coming over.
Thanks, man.
King Snyder, the legend, thank you for making great movies. And we're going to see you next week on Versus. Now, next week, we might be going on a little bit earlier than normal. Dustin and I have band practice, so we may start a little earlier than normal. We're going to work that out. And at some point, if we start playing and the time going on early becomes a problem, we may move the show over to Fridays, which would be after I get done with small screen. Then we just jump on and do this, which would be great for Curtis probably because he's off on Saturdays, so you could stay up late and not worry about it. But we're gonna get all that stuff worked out. And anyway, again, thanks for joining us. Next week we'll be a little earlier, probably 6 or 6:30 or 7 maybe, and we will see you soon. Alrighty. Versus.